All of these reviews are 5 stars. Out of 7 total reviews, all of them are 5 stars.
We need better feedback, then.
This is an S-tier podcast as far as Apple Podcasts
This is
concerned.
an S-tier podcast, folks.
More than I can say for
100%.
I can change
most
that. Give me a
podcasts.
second.
And now we've come to absolutely tank our ratings because we brought the punching bag on the show.
I kind of wanted to see if we could draw out the Affy joke for as long as possible and then try to bring him on, like, episode 69 or something just to keep shitting on him. Like...
What episode is this? 7?
This is 7, yeah.
7,
Yeah, 7.
I think? Yeah.
We've been doing this for less than 2 months, and it's gone way better than expected.
1-star review. There you go. Get fucked.
Oh, thank you. Wait, if I refresh the page... I'm refreshing it. It's not updating. So, in the meantime, I will read this other 5-star review out of perfect 5-star reviews.
I did 1 star.
Called
but then I did a
Amazing.
5-star.
Jacob and 4 Honor Caster make an amazing team.
I love that.
You talked about this earlier.
You do one tournament, and that's what you're known for.
But it wasn't one tournament. It was the first 4 Honor tournament,
It was the
right?
first
Like
4 Honor tournament
ever?
where I casted for like 5-7 hours straight. I honestly forgot how
I
long it
didn't
was.
know like what to talk about even.
Yeah.
Like, how long was the game out for by the time you casted that thing? 2 months?
It was
3?
an open beta a week.
Oh my god!
The guy,
you knew
the guy
nothing.
used his axe down, up, left. That's what the casting is going to be.
Oh,
like,
this guy
right?
pulled out
how
a
do you
lance.
cast that?
Yeah.
Dude.
You ever watch
samurai guy started
professional
sprinting.
wrestling?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
It's
I mean,
just,
you could do that.
it's just I think I just like made up move names because
Oh Lord.
like there were actual move names, but no one knew what they were because the game had been out for like 4
just sounded
days,
smart.
5
Yeah.
days.
That's what Chowder always does.
So there's a move, like there are some moves like Hurricane Strike and Devil's Embrace that like everybody knew, right? But there were other moves, just nobody knew what was going. And the meta was just, it was the Viking, it was the Raiders versus the whatever, like the sneaky assassin Japanese Jacob.
Sorry. Let me fix that.
I like your
I'm gonna-
shirt, by the way, Jacob.
Oh yeah,
Breaks his-
no. I
breaks his
wanted to
speed
throw
phone.
this one on just so that it was very clear. My microphone fell. Very clear to Affy where my loyalties lie. I gotta fix this. Hold on. Ah!
Hey, he didn't win invites for no
Wait.
reason, all right?
Wait,
Yeah, I think we can get into later. We can kind of ask Luke how it feels to be the youngest world champion in history. That's got to be cool. I
Yeah.
don't know how the heck you pulled that off, but I'm proud of you nonetheless.
Luke, how did it feel to win Worlds and then go back to school the next week?
That's what my mom said. Like, I
that's
come
awesome.
home and she's like, back to reality, and I'm like, yep. And then I just go back to school and I'm just like in a little classroom learning about nouns and verbs. It was awful. It was the worst experience. I was like, it was all for nothing, man. I'm back to where I was.
Yo,
Oh,
Chowder.
Yo, what's up?
Yes.
You know it.
Do I? I don't have mine right now, but yes.
Hell yeah.
I actually like that. I like that they have hats.
It's
I don't
it's
think
actually
we
a
have
nice
any
hat.
hats.
It's got like a V for victory on the side.
Yeah, that's
Got
dope.
sort of
That's
nothing
actually
on the
dope.
back, but
Do I just start wearing my backpack whilst I'm in my chair?
it's actually a good hat. So now I'm wearing like a Vitality
you have
and a
more
Fnatic
Sit
swagger.
shirt.
sideways.
Yeah.
Free promotion.
I actually really
Yeah.
liked we didn't see anything. We saw so much SSG gear at the Invitational, and then the one time a Vitality jersey comes out is when Ammunition's wearing it for the content creator show match. Who I keep on forgetting how to pronounce your coach's name, and I'm so sorry.
Laloon.
Thank you.
Laloon?
So it was wearing her jersey, and I'm like, that's a really cool gesture.
It's not hard. You just Lulu.
Lulu.
You just say like
Like you just did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I just said. Yeah, I got it.
I know that
I
your
just forget how
filthy,
to in the moment.
disgusting peasant tongue can't speak French, but
Désolé, je parle pas français.
Tu parles français?
Sorry, I don't speak French in
Affy,
French,
c'est
which
parler
is kind of
français?
ironic.
Je m'appelle Affy. Comment spell I don't know much.
I don't know any. I asked Troy at Invite if he spoke French, and he was like, "Oui," and I was like, "What the heck does that mean? I don't know what that means."
Oh my
I
god.
was like, "What?" I was like,
Oh
"You," And he was like, we. I was like, what? I was so confused.
So in France they say we, but in Quebec it's like way, right?
Oh,
it's like if you spoke French in a Texan accent.
That's all that Quebec
way.
is, to be honest.
Yeah, just
It's like
comparative to
France,
the
but
rest of
Texan.
Canada.
Just-
Yeah.
Texan France. Nice.
So when we had the offer to bring Affy on the podcast, I didn't realize that he decided he was going to completely outclass himself by bringing on a world champion analyst as his partner, as opposed to somebody who hasn't
I
won
heard he
anything.
drove everyone else away.
Well, so
Yeah. Well, okay,
he
let's
actually
go
did.
into that.
He did because
Well,
the list
well.
of names that he gave me was absurd.
Give him
Well,
3.
You gave me 3, and they were so hard to track down because they're all so fucking busy.
Well, the issue is, Chowder, 11 p.m. and 11 a.m. are very different times,
Oh,
you see.
excuse me.
He
He
told
just
me
popped
11
into
p.m.
Discord last night
so
and
I'm
goes,
out here,
I didn't
like,
realize
you know,
it was 11
op-
p.m.
Yeah, optimal scrim time for normal teams in NA, 11 p.m. Like, you know, from 9 till 11. You know what, let's track down an analyst at 11 p.m. Good luck with that, buddy. Good luck. And then turns
Wait.
out, you know what, it's 11 a.m. Chowder, nice.
I'm just going to blame that on your ability to not read things properly.
Yeah,
I don't
I
I
think
can
that's
send a
Chowder's fault.
screenshot.
I'm
I will-
pretty
listen,
darn
I will
sure.
look
go
at this
through our
DM.
DMs mid screenshot. Like, okay, mid shot. Okay, I'm going through it right now.
Did he mean
I-
11 p.m. Eastern?
Yeah, he said 11 p.m.
That's like middle of the night for you guys, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I changed my whole
You're
sleep
still-
schedule.
But
for
yeah,
it.
11 p.m. Eastern, that is optimal scrim time. He's right. Mm-hmm. Which is only 9 p.m. for me.
I definitely
so.
did say 11 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
See?
No, that's
Oh, nice
Just
job.
chat. Just so you know, I will post it in chat too.
post it in chat.
I am
on,
posting
man.
it in chat.
I'll just
You had one job.
I'll just show it right.
The audio viewers are very confused, but it does in fact say 11 p.m. Yes, there
I said
it
11
is.
p.m. Yeah.
I want you and a nah analyst.
And
Nah,
analyst.
analyst.
Yeah.
Yes,
I want you in a analyst.
that worked.
And somehow we only pulled one of the best, apparently.
Just
Shame,
world champion.
really, honestly.
So no, Luke, I hope you understand. In the amount of times that in the course of the next 2 hours that we're just going to be dousing Affy in lighter fluid and setting him on fire. Hopefully, you understand that we're just going to be singing your praises for the next
That's
however
what I like
long
to
this
hear.
podcast
I can
goes.
deal with
Yeah.
that. I like that. Yeah.
Because I'm
this will
pretty
be
sure
a
that
Luke,
you didn't have a whole bunch of people like
No, I don't
saying,
know, man. It
"Hey,
seems
oh
kinda
my God,
nice.
SSG is great," but then everyone was like, "Well, they have an analyst too. Don't forget the hey, guys, don't forget the analyst. Guys, I helped. Guys, I was there. I lifted the hammer. Please don't
Yeah.
forget me." Like,
Yeah, I'm kind of in the back scenes, you know.
yeah, just kind of hoping you don't get
So-
lost in the shuffle.
Well, I mean, it probably doesn't help
Yeah.
that you're like literally 17.
Yeah, being young also doesn't help. That's one of my major fears was actually going into the team that I wasn't gonna be like heard, you know, because I'm underage.
Yeah.
But it's
Like
been
people
good,
were going
you
to
know?
take you seriously, kind of thing.
Yeah, they treat me well over there.
That's nice.
Treat me lavishly.
Have you had that on
Yeah.
previous teams?
Not really. Like I did Disrupt Gaming beforehand, and there was some kind of issue there getting my word across. When I coach, just because like Yeti's a pretty big leader, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, I let him take over because that was his team at first. I was just kind of there to help, but it's definitely a lot better on SSG too. I'm able to be heard, which is nice.
Was that
But, yeah,
a different
definitely one of my
dynamic
big
when,
concerns. Yeah.
when Brycer was with that squad as well?
Yeah. I was brought on as an analyst by Brycer, and then he stepped down like a week after. So then I became
Right.
the coach. Yeah.
Yeah, because didn't you go to Wizards, I think?
He
Yeah.
went
Yeah.
to. He took a break, I think, and then he went to the Wizards, and then PogChamp now, obviously.
Yeah.
Yep. And now he's a Challenger League champion.
Yep.
Not that that means anything anymore.
No, sir.
Yeah, that is sad.
I want
But
to
it
see
would
suck
Charlotte
to be
back in
top
Pro
2.
League.
I want to see a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Charles is nasty. He's a
I
good
want
player.
to see a lot of those guys back in Pro League, honestly.
I think if nothing else, if the guys on PogChamp, I mean, I would assume they'd stick together because they did a really good job together as a squad. But if nothing else, I would hope that some of those players can get tryouts somewhere.
Yeah.
If nothing else, just to be like, hey, Because the only one from PogChamp who was never in PL at any point was Prod. Everyone else has been in PL.
And Prod did really well this season too.
He didn't do bad, yeah.
He was like top 5, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Players. He like shot up last game, basically. Yeah.
Check out SiegeGG. Well, yeah, last game versus Okami wasn't exactly the pinnacle of North American performance either.
Yeah.
So
I don't think the stats are out yet, right?
not for the
NA?
season. It's for the last game for NA is up. We're still
I
waiting on
believe
Supers
Supers
stats.
ratings.
Yeah,
According to
Supers, yeah.
Supers.
So he was the first in cost from the whole Challenger League NA, actually. So
Nice.
3.5, which is quite high, actually, yeah.
I remember doing
let's
stats
see
for this. We had to take all the SiegeGG stats, like the day that they came out, and then quickly put them into a spreadsheet so that production could use them. So our producer would always be like, hey, if anyone's free to help work on data entry, I'm like, I got you. Like, we're going to get this right.
He's 5th on KD, which is plus 29, and he got 1st in cost.
Yeah, he played very well, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he played like, what did he play? I think he played like secondary support. Because I know Trip was on support, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trip was mostly support. Prod, last day he played a lot of Twitch Valk.
Interesting. I guess that doesn't sound so secondary support to me, but
I mean, I don't know. Would you
maybe Thatcher's banned?
In
He just
your
went to the
professional
Twitch?
analyst opinion, what would you consider Valk to be? A support op?
Well,
I mean, it
Well,
depends.
she's an
Flex
info
op, to be
op.
honest.
She's like
Yeah.
a Valk Mozzie is usually
It also
like a good
depends
pair
like
that
what region
people
you're
play.
in. Because in
Yeah,
Latin
see, we
American,
can talk about
Valkyrie is
analytic
not an
differences
info
here
op.
because of region bases, so we can explore all of that.
I also see some Tachanka on there from Ghost.
Good
That's
work.
his most played defense op.
Good work, Ghost.
For the love of God,
Good work, Ghost. Nice work.
did Ghost really? Did he? Yep, he did.
I mean, they
did.
had it.
Wow.
They had the season in the bag, right? There was nothing that they had to worry about.
there was nothing that
Well, they had top 2 wrapped up by the last week. They were waiting to see how their 2 games went and then how Bra played, and Bra didn't do anything.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they had a 5-point lead on Bra going into the last week, so Bra did have a chance, obviously, but yeah.
Oh my God, Chowder.
I
Chowder,
believe that I've just been...
Oh my gosh.
Jesus
in
has
heaven.
blessed him
There's
himself.
a UFO outside your window. Chowder!
Bro, what just happened?
Again, for the
thought-
audio-only listeners, the sun
God,
has
it's-
barreled through Chowder's window like God coming down from heaven. His his brightness is all screwed up. Our Lord and
Their
Savior.
pajamas, calm down. Just trying to think, what the fuck?
I don't have like any windows in my room, bro.
Hold
I'm
on,
in a
my
prison
brightness
cell.
just
I've got
You
totally
don't have any
exploded.
windows in your room, dude.
I have one, but it's so tiny. It's like
Like, me and
I have
Luke got
2.
prison cells.
That
walls
one is
apart
usually
from
the
Yes.
God Ray one.
his dog.
you guys have all decorated stuff. I'm just like plain walls. Slap a
literally.
TV on there.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I call Chowder's room decorated. That kind of looks like
It's more
an
of a
anime
just a-
convention threw up in his room.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I'll have
He's
you
just
know
a
that this
hoarder.
is the finest attic in all of my town, please. All right, this isn't. None of that's mine. All right, that's
Oh,
just
really?
storage. Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
I didn't have
for
anywhere to
you.
put. I'm just proud of I put the scarf up yesterday. That thing
No, you-
was
you
the
can't-
best thing I could have gotten an invite.
You
That's
can't see
like
any of my stuff because it's like behind.
so
freaking-
cash. Oh, you put it in front of you. I just have sound panels
No,
in
it's,
front of me.
it's to the side. Well, so in front of me is like
The window that we show everyone every podcast is the window. Oh,
Oh my gosh.
yeah,
I'm being
that
blinded.
works.
So for
There it
the
is.
audio viewers or the audio listeners, my computer is in front of a skylight, so it's really hard for me to properly adjust lighting because, well, so I have God himself who I'm stalking with. I figure the best way to stop God is with that flag, right? So I. So I have my gay pride
it's funny
flag on my
every time.
window, and I have a big fucking shade over my skylight. But basically, lighting this room is a nightmare because it's a giant triangle, and it's hell. And I hate it.
Yeah, you have like 2 big windows converging on each other. You gotta like get a less transparent flag to block that window or something.
I think I gotta get a curtain.
Like, if you still want to
just
piss
like get
people
like
off,
bed sheets and put that over or
if you
something.
want to still piss people off, put the flag in front and then blackout blinds behind.
I mean, I have a trans flag that I can put there too, so we can like really fuck people up. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
do it.
I mean,
Have it
how
hanging
thick
out
is
your
the
window.
flag? The thicker the flag, the more the blackout.
yeah,
But the more flags you layer on top of one another, like if we just get every single flag
well,
in the
we just get,
spectrum.
like, just like we get a pride flag, we get a trans
Yep.
flag, we get a
Yep.
ace flag, we get a
Yep.
bi flag, we get a lesbian
Yep.
flag, we get all
Yep.
the flags.
All
we
the
just,
flags.
We're just gonna make like a 7-layer flag cake.
And then just stick it up on the window.
And God will still find a way to throw light through that window. It's like blackout curtains will do nothing. Anyway, I didn't think we'd talk about light for as long as we did.
Apparently I turned Super Saiyan for a hot minute, so
You
Yeah.
did, and it was great.
I don't know what happened. Yeah,
It's gonna
that just like
happen out of
randomly
nowhere, and
happened
I'm
too.
like,
You didn't even do anything. Yeah.
I know.
God,
it's-
he's ascended.
I think my webcam software exploded for a hot minute, and so like the audio white balance just kind
Yeah.
of crashed, and the actual brightness of this room came through.
Oh lord.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. But anyway,
lo-
welcome to Hammered Episode 7, where we've
We
brought
are-
on.
17 minutes into a recording, and we're now introducing the podcast. Yes.
It's
Wait.
not the slowest we've ever introduced. It took us like 30 minutes to actually get on topic with Gregor, because we
I
kept
think with
talking
Gregory,
about
it took forever. Yeah.
yeah, we kept talking about vomiting in the back of a bus.
No, that happened like later on in the podcast. Like, that was
Yeah.
the thing that like catapulted us way over 2 hours. I'm like, well, God. It was a good story.
It was a great story.
But anyway. Who have we brought on?
I don't know.
I don't know why
I've never seen these people at LANs. I don't know who they are.
These guys don't play. They don't stand behind the players.
They
Like,
just kind of what?
Yeah,
Like-
we're just in the back.
Where are you? What do you-
just
what do you-
watching them.
What do you people
We're
even
just
do?
fans, dude. We're just fans.
It's like a VIP fan section. That's honestly what I feel like it is.
it's like you get paid to be like the biggest fans of the team,
Yes.
Yeah,
but not
pretty much.
enough
Just
to
a
get
cheerleader.
not enough to get on stage every time.
Yeah.
Where
Just enough to be
did
sleep
you
deprived.
like? Is there like an area in the back where you could watch everything, Luke, or were you like
Yeah,
in the
there was a
stands?
players' lounge. Yeah,
was
there
there?
was a players' lounge. Yeah.
Got it.
So me and Sal's the assistant coach. We just watched the players' lounge, and like there were people with us, and we were going crazy. Like every round, we were just like yelling or like saying
Yeah.
like shit after every round if we lost it. And like people were like, Tomas came in, he was like, "You guys gotta chill out. Like you guys are so loud." But like it was the championship. Like it was
Yeah.
like the final, so it was huge, and like I was like shaking a bunch, and yeah, we were loud. But then once it kind of got closer, and like we knew it was match point, that's when we went to the side of the stadium,
penalty
like where
box.
it's kind of the fans on the right side. we were
Yeah.
like kind of chilling there to experience it, head on.
Yeah.
Is there any way for you guys to communicate?
The only way we can communicate is after the map. So
Okay.
like Lycan will come backstage, and then we'll talk there. Yeah, and like everyone will come back. Yeah.
Okay, but so
That's about
during breaks, it's not like you can get on a headset with Lycan and talk to him to relay.
No.
It's just
Nah. Lycan's got the whole shebang. He takes care of everything. But yeah.
well, they're analysts,
How
by the
often
way.
do
I
you,
don't know
like-
that we said that they're analysts.
I don't know if we did
think-
either.
I
I think
think
we
we-
just I think we
yeah.
just doused
We
them
said
again.
we're big fans.
Yeah,
I mean, I still don't disagree with that statement, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
That's a
just
good
a
point.
big enough fan to be sleep deprived during 3 months of the season, you know?
The entire time you're sleep deprived, just tagging along, hoping that you have something to deliver. Were you a part of Vitality for any lands yourself, Affy, or has that not happened for you yet?
Sorry, what?
Have you been a part of Vitality for any lands yourself, like during
No,
your tenure?
no, not yet.
Okay. Have you managed to? You've gone to lands previously, but not for an analyst
it's-
position or not for Vitality.
Nope. No, I went to Premland 3 times and that's about it.
But that wasn't to perform duties for a
No.
team. That was just to
No,
be there.
No, that
Yeah,
was to
just
beat up
there.
Shattered.
Yeah, pretty
Oh,
much.
okay,
Yeah.
got it.
The Airbnbs in Prem are something else.
I've heard
Hey,
tales
all I'm
about
saying is me, Amerta, were in the same Airbnb. Amerta is now in Pro League and so am I. So something must have gone on in that Airbnb. Just saying.
I don't know if that's good phrasing.
Yeah,
but yeah.
that's
Yeah,
terrible
that phrasing
phrasing.
isn't too
I
good.
mean, no, that phrasing's perfect.
those.
What the
The
hell?
17-year-old for pointing this out to us. Thank you.
Amerta is Jesus himself. You should see him. He's got like.
I've seen his Twitter profile. Yeah, I've only ever seen that of him, but
he's got the locks and everything.
Sick.
Yeah, he seems like a pretty nice guy. I was talking to him.
We
the
call
other
him
day.
Italian Jesus.
Italian Jesus?
Yeah, he's like. I'm pretty sure he's like originally Italian.
I don't know. There's enough European countries I would just call him white and leave it there, but.
Wow, yeah, he does look like Jesus. I just had to reframe it. Yeah, wow. I had to pull up 2 pictures side by side. Yeah.
Shouter, he's outside your window. Look.
You can't be
see
here.
a murder creeping in, and then we've got a third guest.
Back off! All the people to see outside his window.
Be gone.
Hey, we've got a third person for our podcast now.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, we should just have one like massive analyst roundtable of all the people that are underappreciated and that never get any screen time ever. Right?
Yeah. So
But
I don't mind.
it's not like being an analyst is like a completely buried position either. I think a lot of people just kind of assume it's another member of support staff, but there's for teams that really do care about how their squad performs, to not have like one support staff, like a coach who can also be a manager, who can also do analyst work, to split that up is still a big deal. So I'm sure both of you guys can talk a little bit kind of about how that workflow works. I know you can't, say everything, but every team will be different in terms of how much work they put onto an analyst, like kind of how that process works, day in and day out. Is there, there's something pivotal that happens in there because there's a reason why the analyst position exists, and it's not just, merged all into one thing for a coach to do by themselves. So I don't know if one of you wants to talk a little bit about how that works out.
I can follow up.
I was gonna say like the shitty one or the world champion, but I guess we're gonna.
we can save the best for last if you want to go first.
Okay.
That's fine.
So in terms of analysis, there's 2 main kinds. It's internal and external. Internal's more focused on your own team. You do things like scrims, and it can vary from what maps are you the best at, what sites do you need to work on, and you track all that through statistical analysis. To you give suggestions to your players which site they play the best with, or which, if they use foregrip or angled, because in previous scrims they either used foregrip and they've done really well, they've played angled, they've played really well. It can get into a very, very complex, basis. So scrim data can go all around the place. You can do wonderful things with it. It's truly amazing. It is a pain in the ass to work with, but it is truly amazing. And then you've got external, which is more focused on the enemies. And then in that, there's also two main types where you do statistical and then in-game analysis itself. Statistical is like general overview of what the teams are, like what the team is, what maps they play best on, attacker defender favored, what operator lineups they run, just in general what they are and who they are. Anything statistical that can help you exploit them if they plant late in the round, that kind of idea. And then you've got how they play in games, so site setups, operator lineups, how they attack, how they defend. Are they a roam heavy team? Like, do they play really aggressive? Are they really passive? Do they like to anchor a lot more? Do they have people going bunt groups and roam? Do they have like solo roamers? It's in general, analysis can get very, very detailed. It's just how detailed you want to go, because with detail you also give sacrifice that your team might not be able to adapt, or if your analysis is wrong and they've changed something, then that's a big issue, because then you have to rely on your team's ability to just solely adapt. So it's a big gamble between what you do and how you do it. Everyone has different methods, but it's more about what you're willing to sacrifice, how much time you're willing to sacrifice, and how much you're willing to gamble, to be honest.
Luke, how much would you say what he just said kind of differs from the focus that you would put on it?
I think that's about right. I think the only thing I don't really care too much about is like individual performance. I know he was mentioning like performance in scrims from like certain players. I tend to stay away from that because I think like team comes first, and I know if an individual is struggling, it's not because like there's a lot of other things we can focus on of why he's struggling, like his positioning or etc. So I kind of tend to stray away from individual performance, and if like they feel they're not doing good, they'll go to the coaches. and like they'll like VOD review with them and stuff like that. But I never like to like point out like, hey, this scrim you want like -20, you know, get better. I don't really like doing that. I used to do that. Obviously not like that harsh, but yeah, I've kind of strayed away from that. And then I think everything he says for match prep is about right. It's just kind of like he said, you have to feel a balance between like prepping too much and prepping too little, because if you prep too much, you kind of get in your own head like they're doing this round, and if they do something different, you're lost because you don't know what's happening. And then that's over prepping, you can't adapt as well, stuff like that. Prepping too little, obviously you have no idea what's going on, you don't know what to expect, stuff like that. But yeah, you just have to kind of find a good balance with the external analysis. Yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree everything that he said, just some kind of differences.
Yeah, going back on what you said before about the whole player data thing. I mean, I think in general, the reason you track that more is because it's more to see, okay, this person isn't comfortable playing this op on this site.
Yeah. If you're tracking op, I can definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's more like that. I think people would rather track player data for, rather than point out the obvious. Because like you said, if a player knows they're doing bad, they'll go to the code for it. Yeah. The people aren't blindsided. So it makes sense from what Luke's saying too.
Yeah.
You mentioned over prepping, and the first thing I thought of was if that's a scenario where you do too much analysis for something, and then once the strat gets changed, like if you're defending and they change their attack strategy, all of a sudden you have zero clue, like kind of how to adapt for that kind of thing. I was immediately reminded of DZ, just because that's kind of how I see, like if something on their side fails, it just turns into an absolute, crapshoot because they're trying to figure out their method of adaptation, and it doesn't feel like they've got the backup plan for the backup plan for the other backup plan about how to figure out how to do that. So that's kind of what it reminded me of, almost like it's information overload to the point that you still didn't prep for this one thing, and it throws everything out of whack.
And I think that's especially seen at like LANs. Teams will struggle to basically, when they don't have enough prep, they kind of struggle, right? Because online you can prep a lot. Like who's ahead of you more so, like especially in the first game of the season, you have weeks to prep for that sometimes, and that's where like I know DZ does very good on like those first game scenarios where they have a lot of prep, and maybe that's why they struggle at LAN, but I think they've done better at LAN. But yeah, just kind of finding that balance is I think important, and where we see with them.
You're right, having all of that time for the first game of a season especially. I didn't think about how, or you're coming back for the second half of a split and you've already spent 3 weeks at the very least, like looking at your opponent going, oh, okay, we definitely know we're playing Luminosity, and once we go into that scenario, we spend 3 weeks on them, but then it's like, well, we also have 6 other games after this one that we have to worry about too, but we can at least do this one right and hope that our 3 weeks of stratting can outweigh their 3 weeks of stratting, and then just hope that everything balances out and we win that one.
You see, the gamble with that is, with first week prep, is people change strats all the time. It does. It's not it doesn't take an eternity to change a strat. So then if you gamble like a week to focus on one team alone, like let's say first week, for us it's G2. I'd say, in my opinion, probably our biggest rival in Pro League right now.
Sure.
G2. So like, and I spend a week against that, and they've changed their strat. We've kind of messed up the whole economy on how you'd be working for different teams too. So I like to give the same amount of time for every single team, same amount of prep for every single team, and just like give out equally, because if you gamble too much, it can really mess you up.
I mean, it's the prisoner's dilemma, right?
Yeah.
Which is, Luke, I know you're like 4, so you don't know what this is, so I'll explain it.
No idea. I'm waiting for the explanation. Just keep talking. I'll know what you're saying.
So you've got 2 prisoners, right? And a police officer goes to both of them and says, look, we think we have you, right? If both of you confess, you're going to jail for a short time. If one of you confesses and one of you doesn't, the one who confesses isn't going to jail, and the one who does confess goes to jail for a long time. But if neither of you confess, you both go free. Right? So it's basically game theory and probability. It's how likely is your opponent to change based on the circumstances of you existing. Right? So you could go into a game like Affy said with G2, and you could strat the hell out of them, and you could be, in the prisoner's dilemma theory, you could say, right, I'm going to deny the crime, and G2 just came out with it, and now you're in jail for 10 years.
Yeah.
And they walk free, right? So it's...
I actually really like that analogy. I don't think I've ever heard that one before.
I've heard it before. Ironically, it's also part of a game show in the UK. Well,
yeah, you guys
at least.
literally have
actually?
a game show that's just the prisoner's dilemma. Yeah,
What?
I've seen that on YouTube.
yeah, it's like steal or split. Like literally,
Steal or
it's
split.
but,
Yep.
yeah,
And they try to convince each other in between.
Well,
yeah.
it's at the end where you have steal or split, but in general, that's where I learned it from originally.
Huh.
Yeah. Like
Here's
if both players steal, none of them get the money. If one player steals, they get all the money, and the person who split doesn't get any of the money. But if they split,
They get 50-50.
they get 50-50. So it's
Okay.
I will say too, like kind of adding on to like the first week prep, I think one of the most difficult scenarios is especially when there's a roster change, because sometimes you have no idea what to expect. You have no idea what maps are like, stuff like that.
I mean, what was it
That's
like?
hard.
I mean, especially if like the IGL or support staff's been
Yes,
changed. God,
yes.
it's
like
terrible.
you don't you're like, I guess we just have to get rid of our weak maps and just hope
so-
whatever decided we go to isn't their best map, stuff like that.
So what do you
It
do in that
sucks
scenario?
sometimes.
Do you look at their previous coaching experience, see their style, and try to adapt to that, or do you just like stick to the fundamentals of your team that you can do well, and see if just you at your best can beat them?
I kind of think it's more of like a play art own type of game, because like if we're on, then we can like everyone should believe that if like you're on your game, you should be able to beat any team, and just kind of focusing on your fundamentals. Obviously, you can still track data from like beforehand of like operator lineups, etc. But all that stuff may not be applicable if there's new players, which is difficult for sure.
I mean, for me personally, I still do a little bit of analysis external. It's more just based on playstyles, general operator lineups, how they play.
Yeah.
It's not going to be that in depth. It won't be like super detailed side setups, nothing like that, because obviously they are going to change stuff. So we still like have a little bit of the upper hand, but we don't play it in the way where we gamble a lot in doing it. So we can like, because it's quite easy to see how a team plays from a scrim VOD of 3 maps. So you can take that, you can use scrim data, you can use like scrim analysis too, and you can build a general overview of how they play with a new lineup, but you don't go too in depth, because that's when you give away a lot of stuff, give away a lot of advantage.
When it comes to when that you're heading into, like, we can just keep on using a PL season as an example of this. When you know the schedule, like, way ahead of time, as opposed to in a LAN scenario where you don't necessarily know who you're going to be playing the next day. But in a PL scenario where you can look at that schedule and say, okay, we're playing this team and then this team and then this team right afterwards. Before that game, do you guys make it a priority to make sure that you scrim that team before heading into it? Or are you kind of playing that one by ear, making sure that you at least get a scrim, but it doesn't matter against which team that is?
No team
So
will
usually-
ever scrim you before a game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Usually, like, you never get scrim opportunities of a team you've never played in that season, unless maybe the complete end of the season. So, like, what will happen is, like, you'll play one team. So, say, like, we played, like, LG first. Then we'll scrim them a lot afterwards, because we've already played them. And they're obviously good practice. But we want to make sure we don't over-scrim them to where it's, like, a lot of, like, counter-stratting into it, because that can sometimes, like, unconsciously happen. Like, okay, they do this, guys. We already know that, stuff like that. But, yeah, usually you'll just scrim teams that you've already played. If you haven't played anybody, sometimes you don't even know the season. We didn't know we played LG first, and we scrimmed them, like, 2 weeks before our game. So, like, in the middle of the scrim, we're like, yo, by the way, we play you guys first week. And, like, we were all surprised. We were all confused.
So you're all testing strats that you're about to throw each other at.
Yes,
And like round
it was
4,
like
someone
a
just
weird
goes,
situation.
wait, hold the fucking phone. What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a weird situation, but sometimes you don't even know who you play in that far of advance, because the season switched up on us before the second split. So, yeah. But we won't play anybody usually in the season that we haven't played, because...
Yeah, I don't think any team would let themselves scrim someone that they're going to face soon.
Even if you think you have, like, the better support staff or anything, it's just not... Yeah, it's just not worth it.
reasonable. Yeah.
A risk
you're
that's a little
potentially
too out
giving
of
away-
the
yeah,
realm of
you're
possibility to
potentially
take. I
giving
get
away
it, yeah.
something.
Yeah.
How does that work from a LAN format then? Because you're not like just doing nothing. Like scrims still do happen in that situation, but I wouldn't know. I'm asking because I'm a little out of the loop about how the back end for works
at
there.
LANs, there's generally setups for teams to scrim.
Yeah,
Right.
so there's two types, I think. You can still scrim online, but I think what's more preferred is, like, for example, let's say G2 and Nora go on opposite sides of the bracket. G2 would scrim Nora. So they still get practice in, but it's going to be, like, if they're going to face Nora, it's going to be in the grand finals. And they'll play that in, like, that kind of scenario. So no matter which teams it is, if you're going to face them really late on, you'll scrim that team, opposed to someone that you're going to face, like, 2 games down the line.
Yeah. So in like
Or you
so
go
like-
for an online scrim.
So like at Invite, we scrimmed like only the teams at Invite because obviously like being at LAN, that's really nice to have that kind of scrim experience rather than
Right.
online because it's a completely different game on LAN. Everything registers a lot faster.
Oh yeah.
The people peaking usually don't always win. It's a lot more advantage for the holders, you know. So yeah, just we usually scrim on LAN, people across the bracket or stuff like that. And like even if teams like say we got to the playoffs, some teams were still willing to scrim that got out in group stages who wanted to grind. So like we could still scrim them too, which was nice. Yeah.
No, yeah, I know not every team was willing to do that after groups. I know Rogue left like
definitely not.
immediately,
Yeah.
which I was sad about because I wanted to go up to Corey and slap him on the ass and be like, "Hello,
Yeah,
fellow
they
Redditor,
didn't
what's
have
going on?"
their fan meet, did they?
No.
I think.
Well,
No, they
Capel
didn't.
was the only one back at the venue, I believe.
Yeah. It was just Crapel, and then a bunch of people from FaZe left.
Well, they had a signing still at the
They
event,
still
but
did their signing, and then
yeah, no,
I
they
don't
did.
thi- They did? Okay.
Yeah, like they have an app that they keep updating literally once every year for the Invitational, and I remember that phases came up at one point.
I mean, I think Rogues came up too. But
I mean, yeah, no, I don't know if they did or not because I think they announced like on like Wednesday or Thursday, which was the 2 off days because it was Friday through Sunday was groups, off on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday was playoffs that weren't stage. Thursday was an off day. So like by that time they were like, "You know what? Yeah, we're done. We'll see you guys later."
So when does it, on the app, when does it say that Rogue's meetup was? Do you see that?
I don't think Rogue had one is what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't think they did.
Yeah,
either,
Rogue
'cause they
didn't
left,
have one. Rogue definitely
Yeah.
didn't have
I'm
one.
90% certain they didn't have one.
Yeah, they left
Because
the
they
10th
left
of
during
February.
the break, yeah.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
left
no,
during the break of
SSG had the
break.
first meetup, and then DZTSM had theirs. FaZe and Liquid, 2 Brazilian teams, both had theirs on Friday. Like right around the same time the DZ NIP game was going on, was when that went down. So I actually, when we walked through that, I went through the DZ one, talked to a couple of the guys, and I actually asked BC, I'm like, "You guys are doing a signing literally right before you guys have a game versus NIP. I don't get it." Because this actually might be something that Luke can talk a little bit about as well. Why, I mean, you guys didn't have a game on Friday, the first day, so you could have done whatever, so having you guys having a signing then would have made sense. But DZ had a signing, and then they had to have gone immediately just back into doing more prep and just getting ready, because to me it was like you have an hour turnaround between when your signing is and when you're supposed to be on stage, or it was some very minuscule time frame. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it was completely random because I don't think we had to say. We were like, "Oh, ours is this day, okay," or our player manager took care of it. But it wasn't like we didn't get to choose when ours was. It was just
Okay.
kind of assigned to us. I guess it was lucky that we didn't have anything that day, which is pretty nice. But yeah, that definitely sucks for DZ because especially
Just
like
before this game.
that time
Yeah.
before their match, that's when you really want to get in the zone and like start t-hunting, warming up, going over prep.
So
So,
get
yeah.
some music in your ears, get bumping.
Yeah.
Yep.
Get in the mood.
start doing the hot
Final prep.
It's the
Sacrifice
final
show,
countdown before you get eliminated by the Brazilians. Da 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 da. Da da da.
I mean, at
I
this
felt a
point,
little bit of bad, but
What team on LAN hasn't been eliminated by Brazilian?
I mean, everybody was.
I think Navi.
Navi wasn't. Yeah, Navi was technically a TSM elimination, right? If TSM was second out of that group, Or
Yeah.
was it Space Station second out of that group?
Well, they played them in Decider out of the group, so yeah.
That's right,
TSM
yeah.
played Navi, so yeah.
TSM would have been the guys to knock them out.
Yeah.
There weren't very many, though. You're right.
Fnatic G2.
Yep. There wasn't a single
I don't
LATAM
remember.
team in Group D, so yeah. BDS didn't have to worry about knocking anyone else out that way.
Yeah, they
Anyway.
just had to take it.
Yep.
Yep.
They just had to take it.
Can we get
I appreciate
can we get
Team
can we get
Jacob.
can we get a resounding BDS takes it?
End the
It
meme.
was looking promising for a bit.
Yeah.
We could just avoid it. Avoid the whole thing for like a week and no one else. Yeah. We tried. Anyway. God, I keep refreshing the subreddit waiting for something else to pop up about
Who
what
was
this
who
reveal
was
is
like?
going to be, but
Say you didn't say it was BDS. Who like beforehand would you have thought it would win?
Well,
Did you
so-
do like finalists or no?
that one was oh wait, specifically for the invitational.
Yes, yeah.
Like if BDS like hadn't been in that group or see
You said
Okay.
BDS took it for the whole thing, right?
No, I said BDS took it for their group, if nothing else. But
Okay,
the
okay.
origin of the meme actually stemmed from USN. So I said, sorry, not USN. Wow, that's not the right one.
Yeah, I was
OGA
about to
Pit.
say. Okay, there you go.
For OGA Pit, they had their first round game against Liquid, and I said, Shy goes back on LAN, and I said, Liquid, I didn't know that Liquid was like back, because this was like way before anyone had an expectation for them to win the entire tournament. So I thought they did really well at DreamHack because they made like quarterfinals and like had to beat Dark Zero to like make semis or something. So I had every expectation BDS was probably gonna at least beat Liquid and not get first rounded, but then Liquid just smokes them. So now everyone looks back
2-0,
at
okay.
like that
So it originated from
first
OGA
prediction.
Pit. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
then
BDS got first round. I felt bad for Nora because they spent all that money flying all their players out to Croatia just to
See,
get first round.
I
Yeah.
heard that too. I was sad that tournament turned into, because it was supposed to be 2 APAC spots, and then everyone made the assumption that Fnatic was going to take that second APAC spot. And then
And
when
they
that
didn't.
doesn't happen, right, and that was right around the same time that I think Kazoku came out and said it's just way too expensive for us to, do the tournament in the first place, and they still do it, and it just gets nixed.
Yeah.
Like very,
Yeah,
very
it's definitely
fast.
unfortunate that like quarterfinals was basically you're out if you lose.
So
yeah.
Japanese esports is really weird. Japan has very strict gambling laws, which you wouldn't know if you've ever gone to Japan and seen all the pachinko parlors. But you don't actually technically win money at a pachinko machine, right? So what you do is you play, you gamble, and you get these weird balls. But what you can do is you can go over to the store next door, and the store next door, which is definitely not owned by the person who owns the pachinko parlor, will buy those balls from you for a specific amount of money based on the color of the balls.
So it's
That's the loophole that they use to get
That's
around.
the loophole. That's how insane you have to be to get around Japanese gambling regulations, right? And the other issue is that the Japanese government doesn't see esports as a game of skill. They see it as a game of chance, right? It's the difference between poker and a slot machine. So
I stay up all night some days for a game of chance.
wait,
For game of
it
chance.
gets worse. So the Japanese government has laws on how much you're allowed to give out as prize money and how much you're allowed to legally take as prize money if you're a Japanese esports org or if you're running a tournament in Japan. So EVO, like the big fighting game tournament in Japan,
Right.
if you win like Street Fighter 5, the premier event at EVO, it's a $7,000 prize pool.
That is terrible.
$7,000 for the entire tournament.
Yep. The biggest Dota event in Japan is played for a private chef cooking a nice meal for you.
Oh my god.
That's weird. That's interesting.
Right? So when
Especially for how big it is there.
Yeah, when Kazoku says we're not making money, he's literally saying the Japanese government doesn't allow us, like doesn't see us as an actual esports org. They see us as a bunch of weird, crazy gambling teenagers, and we're not allowed to make money off it.
That's weird. Yeah.
Ouch.
Right? So
That is unfortunate.
That blows.
Like
yeah.
that's why it was so hard to get a LAN in Japan, because they had to like get all the proper permits and they had to talk to the government, and the huge amount of stuff had to go into getting that LAN done, right? It was insane.
And it was an awesome LAN.
Yes,
it was a great LAN.
Like, the arena was actually dope. Like the stage actually looked really nice at
like Japanese Siege is insane. Everyone loves it over there. It's huge. If I'm remembering correctly, I think it's the most popular first-person shooter on PS4.
That wouldn't surprise
sense,
me.
yeah.
Because
it's
like
the most popular first-person shooter on PS4 in Japan, right?
Oh, on PS4. Okay, yeah.
Well, nobody has a PC in Japan.
No, that's a good point. Right.
But so everybody's playing Rainbow Six pretty much, or they're playing like what is it, Crossfire?
Overwatch.
But that's Korean,
Probably
or
Overwatch, to be honest.
Overwatch.
Any like weird clone of an already existing FPS kind of thing. Yeah.
Like Japanese.
I'm, I'm trying to remember
Siege
any other.
Mobile. I've seen that.
I don't remember what it's called, but
I love
Siege
Siege
Mobile is
Mobile.
a thing.
Siege Mobile
Yeah.
is so much fun.
Somebody
I heard
actually
about it.
DM'd me, and he was like, "I heard you like the Analyst versus G. Would you like to coach us in our Siege Mobile
Dude,
game?"
two of my friends got the same DM. Two of my
Yes.
friends got the same DM.
No way.
Yes, and like I didn't know how to respond. I didn't say anything. I just felt I was confused at first, but
Two of my friends
then I
got the
like-
exact same DM.
I know you just won Worlds, but there's this Chinese knockoff game,
yes, it was.
right?
Dude.
Oh my! But it's just
Damn, I guess I'm not good enough. I didn't get the DM.
so yeah. So
You just
know.
said you got the DM.
It's
What do you
sad,
mean?
man.
No, two of
No,
my
he said his
friends got the
friends
DM.
got
I
it.
didn't get it.
Oh, you didn't. Nice.
So
job,
Korea,
Affy.
ridiculously
Hashtag fuck
esports
Affy.
friendly. The entire country is basically on LAN. The slowest you can get like internet speed is like 100 meg up and down, and nowhere has like 15 ping back and forth. Like the entire country is basically just one giant server, and then you go across the ocean to Korea, and they're like, "I'm sorry, you wanna make money playing video games? That's
It's unfortunate.
not gonna happen there, punk." So it's interesting to see just like how laws haven't really changed much.
Yeah, like the really only source of income is like pilot program. That's about
Yep.
it, right?
Yeah.
Because
They make money off the pilot program, off sponsors, and off internal Japanese merchandise sales. Because only recently have they been able to get their merchandise onto online stores, but the taxes
And
and,
it's like
fees are so high.
$160 for a jersey US or something for Norarengo specifically.
Yeah, it's $200 for the hoodie.
yes,
Whoa!
yes.
It's
Oh,
great hoodie.
oh,
Taking money to
I'd wear the
sponsor
heck
the
out of
podcast.
that, man.
$200?
Like, I really just wanted to get like some super relaxed boys sweatpants because I'm in sweatpants almost all the time. Like that would be phenomenal to grab that.
I would love.
And
I
this
would
is
love
also
that.
why everyone was like, hey, if you want to support Norarengo, go buy the skin. Like we had a whole movement around go buy the Norarengo skin, like right as that phase of the partner program started. And I think I've got like 2 of them at this point. I should probably buy the 3rd one, but I have enough MPX skins at this point, so I'm like, stop. But they don't have a whole bunch of support, which to me is interesting for why NIP's former coach, Arthur, would decide to go over there and coach them. Because it can't have been for a monetary incentive. It would have just been... He could have taken, the guys for NIP to invite and would have stood on the stage as opposed to Bob and would have been there coaching the team. I don't know if it would have made a difference. I don't know if they would have been able to beat SSG at the very end, but to me, it's like, why would you'd leave a really good position with a very good team in your home country and then go all the way over there and coach a team that doesn't even speak the same language as you, and we already know they have esports problems, like it said.
Yeah. And then
Yeah, I don't really know like the internals of that. I was
Yeah,
definitely interested
honestly,
seeing that on Twitter.
with
That he left.
with things in Siege and teams in general, like you'll never really know the real reason. And it's something that like we talk about internally in Vitality a lot. Like a lot of people, Reddit analysts. Oh god, I don't want to
Our
get
audience,
into this, but I
yes.
think
No,
kinda
we don't have to.
But like people see things, but you don't really know the real reason behind a lot of things in Siege. It's like people have their own reasons and they're professionals for a reason, So in terms of the Arthur situation, to be honest, it's either he didn't work well with NIP, couldn't get another job, or he wanted a change. He wanted something, you know. He thought he could, you know, He saw something in Nora. Thought, okay, let's get this team back on track. There's a lot of potentials that he could have done, none of which we know. So, you know, I think that's, for him in general, it is a weird situation, to be honest, because, I mean, we saw how far NIP actually did get.
Yeah. Like, they
They were a
went
good
on
time,
a
like, even before
rampage,
Invite, like, everyone knew they were still a good team. Like, had it not been for their subs for Tokonami, they could have definitely won that tournament.
Oh, yeah,
for sure.
Easily.
Yeah.
So
I had
it's like,
a theory that they would have won
bit.
the Sao Paulo LAN if the Sao Paulo LAN for Season 11 had actually happened. I called them to win the whole thing.
I
But-
saw that. I did see it on Twitter. You were a second, right?
I think I
doesn't
did
tell me.
actually. Yeah,
Or
I
third.
think.
I was second or third, yeah.
I think it was like USSG.
I see that smug
It was
smile,
NIP,
Luke.
SSG, TSM. I think were my top three. I mean, the problem with that is we don't have any idea what the bracket would have looked like, and we also don't know who the two
That is
APAC
true. Like, we
representatives
could
would
have
have
gone
been.
against
So it's
each
like,
other first.
oh, very
Yeah.
well, yeah. I think I would have been like, hey, we can have NIP, SSG the rematch, and then NIP comes out ahead because they're in Brazil and just they looked really good. So
Also, second time you ever play a team is you usually lose.
Yeah,
win the
winners,
first time,
I mean, losers learn a lot.
I mean, tell that to
definitely.
EG at the Paris Major, but okay, sure, we'll go with that.
Well, EG's an exception apparently
Apparently, yeah.
in every single grand final.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially, like, if you play the same map, like, losers learn a lot more, definitely, in Siege. They know their mistakes, and, like, second time around, like, they're, like, nasty on that map.
Well, I mean, it
Yes,
happened.
That's
It
what usually.
it literally happened. I think. What was it like last? When was UCL? When was that?
UCL?
Yeah. When did that end? Was that?
Like a week ago.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was like
but
5 days
what
ago.
day?
Yeah.
Was it like Thursday? I think it was.
No, Friday.
Friday.
Because
Yeah, Friday.
Orgless qualify over Diffuse Kids, and then I cast the last CL play, and that was Friday.
Yeah. Okay, so it was Friday, right? You take a look at what happened, and it was literally 6-6 Orgless Diffuse Kids on Clubhouse, and then what was it?
They
like
went back to Clubhouse again.
7-3?
It was 7-3.
They
7-3.
clobbered them in map 2.
I mean, the thing is, their one-trick pony was Monty.
Yes,
Monty,
and then they banned it second time around.
I remember typing in the Vitality group chat, they're gonna ban Monty. Because, like, 3 or 4 of the rounds they won was solely because of the pressure that Monty brought.
I thought the same thing. When I saw the Monty ban, I was like, ooh, it's not looking too
and
hot.
then I was like, yep,
And
Orgless
then
wins this.
Orgless goes up 5-1 on attack.
And then they lose 2 rounds, and we're at 6-3 again, and then they don't choke, though. So...
Yeah.
That was probably one of the coolest things that I've seen over the past couple
They
months.
had a lot of
like,
good prep. They adapted really well. I mean, let's talk about the comeback. Like, come on.
Excuse me,
Like,
yeah.
that was insane.
It was
Yeah.
a really good game.
You gotta
That-
win
that
those,
really
man.
got it flowing.
You really gotta
That
win those.
You gotta.
I don't know.
He
I feel
said that a couple
bad.
times, and it's
What was
bounced back to hit him in the face.
Yeah, there was another one where
I
it
think
was like
against Penta, he spawn peaked Thermite, said you really got to win those. It was a 2v5 at the end, and Penta won the 2v5 to tie the game.
yeah.
And yeah, that was another instance. That
I
was
mean,
not too good.
at a certain point when you talk shit and then just keep getting hit,
you gotta stop.
maybe stop.
Yeah. I've never been a fan of typing in chat. In
Me neither.
games or scrims, I don't know, it's not worth it.
I like
I don't
typing
know,
in chat, but it's
Especially in scrims. Like, come
yeah.
on.
Why would you
Yes.
type in chat?
People
I
talk.
would.
Yeah,
I
I
love
know.
it, dude.
I
I
know. There
really-
are some people in Europe who also type a lot in chat.
like the
it.
only thing that I ever type in scrims is nice shot or like wow
Yeah.
or something like that, right? Like
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Like,
More
sure,
like
could you
compliments
see-
or
wouldn't
anything.
could you see
compliment.
me
Like
from
you're not
there?
trying
Yeah,
to be
exactly.
antagonistic. It's not
Yeah,
meant to be
I'm
that
more
way.
I'm more in there like trying to learn and trying to talk to people about like
Sure, yeah.
oh, how did you get on that angle? Can you show me? Can I watch you with this drone? Like that kind of stuff, right? It's not like I hit someone in the head pre-firing a window and type good night.
Yeah.
I'm cool with
so-
mid-match trash talk, but I think the best example of that was Troy versus LG. It was that last invitational qualifier where he just goes
Yeah.
off on border.
I've
in,
never
like,
seen Troy
ventilation.
like that. That was funny.
Dude, that was so funny.
Yeah.
I wish I had his voice comms right then just to know
Yeah.
like
They were,
how
I
hype
put it
he
up on
was.
Twitter. I put it
Oh
up
wait,
on
the voice
Twitter.
comms for that?
Yeah.
Oh shoot.
Yeah,
okay,
it
I
was
actually
crazy.
I might want to see that.
I'll link it in the Discord.
Yeah. Let me know.
Yeah.
Because his chat reaction, if nothing else, because we had 2 streams going for it that one game at the same time. It was Parker's meme cast. It was
Oh my
me, Lonnie, Redeemer, Jarvis, Kickstar. We're all in that lobby at the same time, and we were just telling the dumbest jokes in the world. And then there's like Loaf and Crow who are doing an actual cast for it, and they're trying to take things seriously, and they even flip out at this moment in the stream.
All right,
I mean,
gotta watch this.
okay, so Omerta, the coach of Orglis, is in the chat, and he says that they literally loaded into the lobby and immediately muted the entirety of Diffuse Kids.
And that is what
so-
you call that is real prep. That is prep. That is prep right there. You don't want them to get into your head because that
And they
that
just
is
look like
real
idiots
prep.
typing to themselves.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. That's top tier level strat. Nice job.
That's like, oof.
Yeah, we definitely have to
Congratulations,
do that with
Orglis.
some NA teams going into match. Just completely mute the chat. If they want to talk to themselves, they can. But like, it doesn't affect us.
Yeah.
That's
oh
actually.
my god, Troy in that clip, holy shit.
Yeah,
I'm
you can just
waiting
like
to
hear
listen
him
to
typing away.
Yeah.
You can just hear him typing away, just like
it. He's slamming his keyboard so hard.
Just like,
Yeah.
there's-
I gotta let these kids know. That's actually here's something we can probably go into a bit. I know your job for both of you will mostly stem from trying to do all the research, but from a coach's perspective, this is actually something I've seen Data talk about a couple of times on Twitter about trying to be a little bit more like personal, I guess, more emotional, like with players in terms of trying to make sure that everyone's on the same track from a mental perspective. I know it's not something you need to dive into nearly as much as an analyst, but is that still something that you guys can sort of factor in just from a performance basis? Because I know you mentioned I don't necessarily want to be the one to tell someone he's gone -20 in a scrim or something to that effect, but we can kind of let the coaches do that instead. Is that kind of the mentality?
Well, in terms of like emotions in general, if one of my players come up to me, like, you know, WhatsApp me and say, "Oh, I'm feeling bad about something," I'm gonna talk to them, right? I'm gonna help them out. I'm gonna, you know, at the end of the day, yes, they are my, you know, teammates, but they're also my friends. So I'm going to be there for them. I'm gonna talk to them. If it's a game-related issue, that's when it goes to Lilun. If it's just an emotional issue, they're feeling bad after a scrim, I will talk to them. I will help them out. In terms of game mechanics, that goes to Loon. In terms of emotions, that can come to me. I don't mind.
See, now the only thing I can imagine is like you cradling Goga in your arms while he's just like
Goga?
sitting there sobbing.
Yoga feels no emotion apart from lockdown.
He's the
Apart from
Spanish
lockdown.
cyborg. Excuse you.
Goga has only felt one piece of happiness his entire life, and that's when he figured out he could plant diffusers in Siege. That's it.
I mean, all he does is hold F anyways. Like, come on.
Goga's just sitting there, just like the bomb has been planted, and he just smiles
No,
a little
you,
bit
you
and goes
should
back.
see him after during some of our games. That guy goes crazy. It's amazing.
Oh, it's great.
I remember our game against Forza in the first split, when we were on Bank, and was it Stiggy? No, it was when Stiggy was popping off, and we had a prep thing where like we prepped the CEO windows and we're gonna jump out because we knew that they like repelled really weirdly. And I just remember one piece of our comms where he's just shouting, "I'm going to jump out! I am going to jump out!" And like the whole team just starts dying. Oh, it's I love Goga to bits. Honestly, he lightens up our comms so much.
Oh yeah.
Having just
Also,
one person there
sorry,
to do
chat
that.
for the scream.
Nah, that scream wasn't terrible.
That's fine.
Yeah, I agree. Like having a player like that, or like a couple players who can just bring the mood up, is definitely nice. Like for us, it's definitely Choi and Rampy are just like very talkative, optimistic about everything. It's good.
I was gonna say, hopefully Troy's not the only person lighting things up in the SSG locker room, just being like,
yeah.
Anything to help
They
out
just
a
like
team
make them
dynamic.
laugh. Everybody else laughs. Yeah, it's good. It's
Good,
funny.
yeah.
And I'm sitting there muted, like in comms, like making sure I'm not distracting, and I'm just like dying, like laughing from like jokes they crack.
Honestly, some of our games, like I sit unmuted. I just use my thing because amazing Corsair headsets, you know, not sponsored at all.
Corsair, we're looking for offers, please. Anyway,
Corsair, give us money. Give us money, or we'll mute this section of the podcast.
Vitality are sponsored by Corsair, but who are Vitality? Don't know them. But yeah, so I don't
know who Vitality are either. I'm not sure what you could possibly be talking about. Yeah.
Shout out, there's a B on your hat. You might want to get that.
Sorry, who are Vitality? Yeah, it's like I have to unmute and just start like telling these guys to calm down sometimes because during our last 2 games it got wild sometimes.
Well, I mean, your last 2 games were, what were they?
Really good, yeah.
Yeah, they were really good, but it was
BDS and Empire.
I think so.
Yeah.
Time to go to Wikipedia.
I believe so.
BDS in the last game, Empire in the game before that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, those are really fun games from our end. We just had a lot of fun.
That's something I keep looking at every time. Well, okay, this is kind of a LAN thing. But every time I see Empire at LAN, I always see that team be the most stoic-looking team ever. Like, you couldn't do anything to hype them up because they're so, like, focused on everything. And I remember watching Raleigh and a friend of mine he's really into CSGO esports, I'm really into CG esports, and we're watching Raleigh together, and Empire wins, and he's just like, they don't look excited at all.
Yes, if you see Razor, their coach, he is just
dead
full on focused.
Like, you'll see Dan get up, like, throw his headphones down, hug, like, 2 people. But
yes, Dan is the emotional one on that team.
Yeah. But there's no one like jumping. There's no one trying to hype the crowd. It's very, very robotic.
Russian?
Yeah. Okay. Sure. We can.
I mean, I think there's this amazing moment, right, in Raleigh where someone, and I don't know where it is. I think it was on Reddit. I couldn't find it for the life of me. But it was someone went through all of the footage of Razor. And the only time he smiled was when someone handed him the trophy. He lifted it up, he went, and then he put it down, and he stopped smiling again.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, I saw something about this before. It's great.
Just like, Kazoku's back there, just like, wah! And Razor's just sitting there like...
Wait, we didn't get an Empire versus...
You must rush B.
Invitational 2019, Norengu made semis. Did they lose to G2 or to Empire? Because if it was against Empire, I'd love to go back and watch the sideline contrast.
I'm pretty sure it was G2 they lost it.
Yeah.
Ah, shoot. Because that would have been really interesting to look at both
just
sideline
quite
dynamics.
Opposites.
Yeah, polar opposites. That would have been a good storyline for the casters to look at too, and be like, Kazoku's over here doing his thing, and then there's Razor.
The guy on the fucking stage was Shas, who's basically just Razor but speaks English, right? Because
yeah.
Shas, I don't know if you've ever seen that man, but he's like 6 feet tall and he just stands.
Oh, I know.
Dead in your fucking eyes. Just.
There's a picture of him with Riley, Pengu, and Lonnie, and he's like they're all like being goofy, and Shas is the one reaching for Lonnie's ball sack, and I'm like, this.
No, Shas. When you know Shas,
Shas is a great guy. He's hilarious.
Shas is a really fun guy. Like,
I love
outside of the game.
Yeah.
Outside of the game, he's amazing. But inside, he's like dead set.
Yeah, I've played a couple of games with him. He's great. He's funny. He's hilarious. But like the second he puts on those coach headphones, it's just Ivan Drogo time. It's just completely no one smiles.
Mm-hmm.
I've never. Right? But Razor's just like that all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. There's a lot of like hype coaches and a lot of coaches who are just focused. Like there's Kazoku, there's Bob, Bagel, even like those hype coaches kind of that go crazy. And then the stoic ones.
When she was coaching, Jess was like really just like shaking people a lot.
She was,
I saw somewhere, I don't remember where, but I saw somewhere on Twitter. You can tell what a coach does during a game by how they walk, and I love that. Because if
what do you mean?
So if like have you seen Kazoku walk during a game? He's like flying through the place.
Oh my god, the man is like Ministry of Silly walking behind his players. Yeah,
and then you see Shas just like stoically standing there in between, and then like because was it Razor's doing the exact same thing. You can tell what a coach does during a game, like how much of a hype coach they are and what they do during the game by how they walk. And I love that. I really
They
love
gotta
that.
they gotta be so exhausted after this game. The head
honestly.
coaches.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That would be
right?
like just standing up there for like 3 hours, like just saying "Let's go" after every win, going crazy. I would get so tired.
My old sailing coach was a hype coach, and that dude would be on like a boat in the middle of the summer for 9 hours a day, and he was probably approaching 65.
Oh lord.
And you could just tell that at the end of the day, we're just like, dude, can you just like chug this Gatorade? And he's like, I'm fine. I'm fine. We're like, Coach, please just drink the fucking Gatorade, dude.
I will say the nice thing about being an analyst is not having to stand up for the entire game. You can just kind of sit.
That's not bad,
relax,
yeah.
wherever.
Can we
That
have
is
it
nice.
like? Can we have it like CS where like coaches get a chair too? That'd be nice.
That would be cool.
No, you don't get a chair. You guys shouldn't even have. You should have chairs, but they should be like the terrible plastic ones.
The launchers.
Oh lord.
No, not
The
like,
ones
not
you
even,
can break if you're too heavy.
Not even garden chairs at the DMV, right? Just
Oh,
terrible,
Jesus,
like
okay.
brown, hard plastic ones. That's what
No, we
those people should
just
be sitting
get a
in.
wooden bench.
Okay.
All the analysts just get a wooden bench and we just sit side by side.
Hold on, Omerta just typed in chat. You shouldn't even have legs.
Nice. I guess we don't need them.
What do? We sit inside and
You
work
don't
in
need
Excel
legs.
all day.
You know what coaches need? They need like skateboards.
Wheelies, dude.
Oh my god.
okay,
Give
so
them
I-
razor scooters.
I brought a pair of Heelys to invite. Those are incredibly hard to use. I don't know how people do this.
Because everyone who knows how to use Heelys was a kid when they were like 7 and just got good at it when they were little. Before they were fat.
Yeah.
So for the people at home who can't see this, everyone in chat is now just typing their opinion on what coaches should have in the back. So let's see. We've got Heelys, metal benches from parks with the hole patterns, a hoverboard,
I hate those.
a
Hoverboard would be nice.
Segway, right?
I like that hoverboard suggestion.
A
That's
I
wood
like
nice.
that,
bench
yeah.
in front of the stage. There you go. No, you're right. Like every analyst or both analysts should just be sitting on the same bench, just sitting here in the back, just kind of going, just with cigars, just.
I will say USN was like very uncomfortable to sit. I was like on the side of the stage with like a chair and there's a bunch of cords around me and like all the photographers in front of me and I like it was very difficult to see anything. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That was the analyst experience for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Indoor
going
was
from
good
big
though,
LAN to big LAN, I don't know how the experience changes like too much, but I'm sure ESL kind of or UB tried to keep the same feel, I guess, for every event because once you're in a zone at a LAN, you kind of want to recreate that the next time you're at a LAN just to make sure that you're not like super uncomfortable. But
So generally, when Ubisoft does a LAN, there's different teams that they work with. So depending on which team you're working with, so there was a team in North Carolina, there's a team in Montreal, there's a team in Japan, there's a team in Brazil, there's a team in America, right?
yeah,
So generally, you can say, oh, we're going to work with the Montreal team, which is different from the US team, which is different from the whatever team, so you can sort of tell what's going to happen. But generally, the experience is about the same.
that's
Yep.
kind of what I was hoping.
Yeah.
But I guess, I mean, even if it came down to something like as different as like whether like you felt good or comfortable in the players' lounge at one event, and then you go to the next one, it's like really cramped or stuffy or something. You're like, well, this doesn't feel like a place where I can full circle just relax and prep for the next game kind of thing.
I went to
Like player comfort's a big deal.
I was in the media VIP lounge at the Raleigh Major, and
Odd flex, but okay.
it's not a flex. The room looked like the room literally looked like the set of Casting Couch, right? So it was just like it was an empty room with a bunch
Luke,
of
you're not meant to
production
be able to
wires in
laugh.
it, right? It was an empty room with a bunch of production wires in it, right? It had a single TV. It wasn't a big TV. It was like a 35-inch monitor with like no speakers, so we had to get the shitty TV audio, 2 couches, and some just like I think it was cucumber water and whatever muffins and croissants they stole from the hotel.
Nice. That was the media lounge.
That wasn't the media lounge. That was the VIP lounge.
Oh, okay.
Basically, the entire point of that place was to be like, I need to get away from all of the like 17,000 fans that are following me.
Fair.
So that was where
something I've
every
never-
big content creator goes.
Yeah, there's definitely mixed experiences, especially with food. Food is a big.
Yeah.
It's either on or it's off. There's no in between, for sure.
What was the worst land food you ever had?
Well, I've only been at 2. USN was good. Good food. I didn't really like the invite food. We didn't really eat from there at all. Apparently, I came when it was like really bad food, but before that, when it was group stages, the food was perfect because it was at a different venue.
Yeah, I mean,
So it was really nice.
I saw some of the pictures from the group stages at the hotel. Like, dude, some of the food there was amazing.
Yes, I heard it was really good. Yeah. But when I came, which was like later in the playoffs, it was like, it was fine, not too good, but yeah. I try to put it in the nicest way possible.
I mean, the event's over with. If you have some gripe against the food that you consumed, like there's nothing wrong
was
with
cold. Yeah.
I have a big gripe against it.
Whoa!
Oh man,
Nice.
more drama. SSG analyst Ekul didn't like the food prepared in Montreal. Oh
Come
no.
on, man.
Eccles just sitting there on Yelp, just like, I do not appreciate the service. Excuse me, I'll have you know, when I order my steak frites, I expect it medium rare, not medium, and I will not accept anything but the finest in cultured truffle butter.
Up, Karen.
They gave me
felt like-
unsalted truffle butter.
It felt like, I don't know, it felt like boot camp food.
felt like
it was
boot
like,
camp.
Oh
Wait,
god.
like you're boot camping for a land food?
No, like
Or like,
no,
oh
military,
god.
like military
you
boot
were
camp.
Camping for a land includes
Yeah.
a lot more white monster than you get at a normal boot camp.
Yes.
No, you would be surprised.
Monster? You mean Red Bull? Sorry.
Sorry, my bad.
Sorry,
I mean
apologies.
Rockstar is what I mean. The superior energy drink is clearly
Does
Rockstar.
B&H Photo make an energy drink? Do you want to plug something? Whatever energy drink sponsors your team.
I actually don't know if
Do you guys
either
have like a
Vitality
drink,
or
like or a
SSG has
food
a
or a
drink
drink
sponsor.
sponsorship?
Vitality has
SSG.
Red Bull.
Yeah, Vitality.
Oh,
is
okay.
Red Bull.
All right, there we go. Yeah. So that's why you said Red Bull, because you're legally obligated to say Red Bull.
Yes.
I'll be honest, I don't think we do.
For example,
I mean,
when I
I
showed
don't-
this
I don't
on the
know.
screen, Affy legally has to duck, right? Because
I think I've got a Red Bull can somewhere down here. Give me a second. It's probably crushed.
Got a Red Bull can.
I've got a crushed Red Bull can. Yes.
There you go. You gotta get the right product placement. Space Station is sponsored by B&H, Champion, and Scuff Gaming. They do not have a drink sponsorship.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know
if-
what B&H was, so I didn't comment on it.
B&H,
wanted
I'm in the film industry. B&H is a really big electronics retailer, and we've actually gotten a lot of
that's
equipment from there.
they're a really nice electronics retailer.
Yeah.
They're based out of New York. They're really good. Like,
We
genuinely.
have a B&H.
You guys have a B&H all the way across the pond?
I'm surprised you haven't
think
pushed
so.
for them to get a drink sponsorship, Luke. It seems like you...
That would be nice.
As-
I don't really
okay,
drink energy
If
drinks.
we
What?
help Space Station, Shonduras follows me on Twitter. If we
on.
help
Wait, hold
Space
on.
Station get a drink sponsorship, we would also
Wait,
love
wait,
a sponsorship.
okay.
Period.
You don't drink
Anything.
energy drinks.
Me?
I don't know.
Oh no, he doesn't.
Do you drink coffee?
Yeah, I don't
you drink
know.
coffee?
It's just like.
I've been
No,
drinking
just
this
water,
the entire
just
time
water.
Do
on
you
the
do
podcast.
any
So
Caffeine?
you're telling me you don't have a crippling caffeine addiction?
I don't think caffeine helps me.
What
Like,
are you
every
doing in
time I
Siege
drink-
without a crippling caffeine
He's so
addiction?
smart, dude. He's so
if I drink
mature.
caffeine,
Jacob,
it doesn't
no.
do anything to me.
He's
This
just
is what I
17.
drank after 6
I know.
p.m. last night. What are you doing?
Maybe I think it is because I'm 17. I just
You're
bounce off the
destroying
juice
your
anyways.
liver. with those.
I finished a
They're
pack,
diet,
a
it's
24
fine.
pack of Red Bull, a 24 pack in a week.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
During Pro League. It was during Pro League, obviously.
Yeah.
Dude. Oh my
I mean,
god.
like, I have finals, so I crush 2 rains
like
a
my
day,
sleep
right?
schedule during Pro League is something.
it's
to
not
bed.
there.
No.
I go to bed at midnight, wake up at 3 a.m.
That's
and
one of those
work.
instances where it seems like you sleep twice during a day, and both of them
Yeah,
are
I
like
do.
3-hour power naps.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do.
Oh my
literally.
God, though.
12 to 3 and then 7 to 10 a.m.
That's terrible, though.
The only caffeine I'll
I
have
just
is like a
work
Coke.
there.
But yeah.
Jeez.
So wait, what does
Does
your
much.
schedule look like, Luke? How do you balance? school
I honestly,
and like literally a full-time job.
I just don't really. Okay, so like 8 to 3 is school.
Right.
When I get home, 3 to 5, I do homework. But that obviously depends. Like I try not to procrastinate as much as possible because I know how much I do. So however much homework I have, I get it done right after school. From there, I'll do whatever work I need to do before scrims, and then I'll maybe play for like 30 minutes or an hour with the guys, and then we have scrims. And then right after scrims, I just work more for like 3 hours after, and then I'm good for the night. I try not to overwork myself because
How about you
we've
in
kind
Pro
of
League,
had it's
though? Because you also have
it's-
external work then.
during Pro League we split stuff up. So like
Okay.
that's the nice thing about having 3 coaches.
Oh, yeah, 'cause you
is
guys do have
we're
3 coaches,
all
yeah.
able to have our own priorities, and I think that's one of the main reasons we have 3 coaches. Just kind of splitting stuff up is really nice. So thankfully I'm not like dying, but I definitely sleep a lot less with PL. Like
Yeah.
I'll sleep like maybe like 5 hours a night or 4. Yeah.
Larry's
Yeah.
amazing with that kind of stuff. Like if I'm like behind, or because I had college during Pro League 2, so if I'm behind on a map or something, she'll pick it up for me. So
yeah.
it's always good with that kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean
I
my
will-
my schedule's still not the best, but it's better than nothing.
I mean, like
So-
literally
say-
after this podcast is over, I'm gonna go take a final.
I'm about to sleep after this. So
I will say most of that stuff will probably change when I go to university. I'll definitely be up a lot later at night.
Oh,
You definitely will. Yeah.
It's
And
actually
I will never be an analyst, but I can already tell you you're gonna.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I go
Because
to
right now it's only high school, so I'm chilling. You know.
Yeah,
go to-
it's not bad. It's not bad.
I go to Penn State online, which is just basically Penn State, except I can do it remotely.
Right.
That's nice. Yeah.
It's honestly like it's pretty nice because it's I get a Penn State degree. It's not like
Yeah,
one
you
of
get
those
everything
like
you
yeah,
need.
it's not like one of
Yeah.
those. And I don't mean to knock anyone who went to them, but it's not like one of those 2-year online degree factories like
Yeah.
like ITT Tech or something like that, right? Where I'm actually getting a degree and I can sort of pick my own hours. And so that actually allows me the flexibility to have a job and go to school and do content creation. And so that's nice, but I
Which
couldn't
is
imagine.
shocking to me that you decided to do 5 classes in 1 semester. You
I want my
absolute
degree.
masochist. I don't get it.
Okay, 3 semesters a year, 5 classes a semester. I get a degree in 2.5 years.
Seems great aside from the 5 classes a semester part. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I can't.
Once I get
stomach
my
that.
degree, I will be sleeping for 7
You have
years
to understand,
straight, right?
even
Just to catch
in
up on my
a film
sleep
school
pad.
program, 3 classes a semester is a lot for me because so much of my work is extracurricular because you're on set, you're in writers' workshops outside of class, you're doing all this other stuff that you can't do during class time. And then to do content creation on top of that is already like a hellscape sometimes. So I don't know
yeah,
how
it's a
you manage
journalism
to
degree.
stomach this. Like,
The journalism degree, so
yeah.
when I die in Siege, I alt tab and I start writing fucking stories. Right? It's like I wish I could say I was kidding, but like
Wait, are you actually going to be the first ever bona fide Siege journalist? Siege GG, you might actually have someone you can contact soon that
no,
knows
because
how to
there are
write
people
articles.
from the score with journalism degrees that cover Siege.
I mean, like Siege homegrown,
Like
not ones that
endemic,
also.
probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's something the scene could use. I don't call myself a journalist because I feel like that's a title you have to earn, and most of my content is just regurgitations of Siege
Yeah,
GG
I'm like
articles and
literally
Reddit
a year
anyway.
from that earning, so
Congratulations! You might actually get verified on Twitter faster than the rest of us will.
no. No. No,
think
there's
so?
no way Twitter's going to look at my tweets and go, yeah, this is definitely someone we need to put a check mark after. Right?
I've
Because,
seen some interesting people get verified. Like this dude has 2,000 followers and he's verified.
yeah.
Like, yeah.
Dude,
What do you have? How many followers do you guys have? Like 10K? I know Chowder, you have
I have like,
like 10K.
13?
I just passed 5K.
13?
yeah, I have like 13.
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
mean,
sitting on
yeah.
like 1.4 chilling, you know.
Yeah, but
Well,
Affy,
like-
you need to start tweeting in French, and then those numbers will just like,
God no.
right?
Listen, the
You
last
got- yeah,
time
hold
I
on,
tweeted something in French, it didn't work out too well. I'm not gonna
Confirm something
down
everyone
that
here
road again.
already knows. Vitality has English comms, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
We're
it's-
not gonna transfer a Spanish person who speaks English, a German person who speaks English,
Who
and a
also apparently barely
Finnish
speaks English,
person who
but-
speaks English.
I'm
to
sorry. The Finns can speak
God,
English
Gosha
now.
only learned English through Siege, from what I remember.
Stiggy's got like one of the best English from the whole team.
And he's
Stiggy's
Finnish.
Stiggy's English is really, really good though.
Nice.
I will say that's the nice thing about NA teams is just one language, not having to worry about like adjusting comms. It's nice.
Because that was something when Vitality first made that shift when they added Stiggy, that was one Finn among 4 Frenchies, and I'm just thinking that has to be so hell to go completely into English comms for one player that's coming in. It's the same thing for like Shate and Chaos, one Finn going to a team of Swedes, and I don't know.
Well, I think there's 2 things that like I'd give a comment on. Is like it was pretty much, I believe, like now that it makes sense, that it was pretty much prep for Bibu and Breeder for Hungry and Goga coming in.
Okay, sure.
Because like at that point, like I think they would have known that Qual and Spark's English wouldn't be that good, or whatever reason they were dropped for. But you know, I think it kind of did train Bibu and Breeder a lot in English. And then aside from that, I think it'd be like if Stiggy's dead in this scenario, and you know the 4 of them alive, they might switch to French, or you know it's a 2v1 or 2vx situation, 2 people are French, they'd probably speak in French. I think that's like the kind of situation that works there.
Right.
It's like in terms of like general things, obviously it'll be English, but when they need to switch it up, I think they would switch it up.
Yeah, if they were forced into a scenario where they definitely had to. Go to the language that everyone knows a little bit about, rather than being like, well, the 4 of us know this one, so you have to learn this one, even if you don't know anything about it. Like,
well, to be fair, we all play video games. We know English. Let's be honest. Well, we know English to a decent amount, extent. You know.
yeah,
Legally speaking, I can't speak any language. I just kind of make vocalizations and
I mean, I can speak every language. I'm just not good at it, you know.
yeah.
that's a good way
I
of
mean,
looking
you
at
didn't
it.
know what we meant, so I don't know about that one.
Yeah, you got me there.
Sorry, way. It's way.
It's where.
Wait.
Je voudrais un poutine. Where?
Oh Lord.
Fuck it.
I recognized poutine, and that was it.
And where?
I would like a poutine. Yes.
I would like a poutine, yes. Great sentence.
J'aime la poutine. Tu es très grosse vache. Je déteste tout. Non.
So when I got to Montreal and on a Wednesday, and then Thursday, I didn't have anything to do up until our Airbnb was open, so I was going to go meet the guys I was staying with and head to the Airbnb. But I put out on Twitter, I'm like, hey, I got nothing to do for like 6 hours. So Ant, the UI technical specialist at UB, hits me up and goes, hey, you want to go for lunch? I'm like, 100%, I'd love to go for lunch. So he pulls 3 other devs along with him. I meet him at the Ubisoft office in Montreal proper, because we had like flats in Laval, but you go right into Montreal to get to their office. So we go with them, and they have this, like, a couple blocks from their office, this little hole in the wall poutine spot, like completely out of the way of everything else. Place is packed to all hell. We get a table all the way in the corner, and it's like, hey, poutine time. You right there. And the way that he's like, most people in that city are bilingual by default, or French by default, bilingual by trade. And to hear him speak French so fluently when he had everyone spoke English perfectly too, but to do it in French first showed me how intimidating that language is. Like, it is such a scary language to listen to when it's being spoken to you. It's nice to listen to, but when you're expected to know it as another bearded white dude in a city full of bearded white dudes, I'm like, what do I even do right now?
So,
like,
as someone who's studied 4 languages, I can tell you right now, French is really easy.
Okay.
The hard part is French pronunciation. French words.
That's what happens when you know 4 languages.
French
when you know
pronunciation, right? So French pronunciation is just hell, because you have a word like Bastille, where it's Bastille, right? So the LLE is just completely dropped. So it's just Bastille. But how the fuck do you spell that? Right? And so
that's a good point. Thank God I took Spanish.
Also with French people speak really fast.
French people speak incredibly fast.
And they slur a lot. As
Yeah.
in, like, the
I
word
wouldn't even
slur
notice
so
the
much.
slurs though. Like it
No,
sounds like it's
no,
part of the
no,
language.
there's a whole unit
Like,
in
they
like
just mix words, like,
Yeah.
left,
Yeah.
right, and center. It's so hard to understand.
if your word ends with S, which a lot of French words do, and begins with S, which a lot of French words do, you just don't take a break.
Yeah. It is.
Right?
It's
So,
terrible.
There's
to
no
try and,
noticeable
like,
pause in
understand
between words. It
actually,
just
yeah.
goes
Yeah.
right into the next
It
one.
just goes right into the next one, right? Where in something like German, everything's very pronounced. German's like math, where everything's very pronounced. It's very physical. But
Yeah.
in German,
German
adjectives-
just sounds like you're tearing your tongue apart at the seams
German
to
adjectives
get
are
words out. Like
German adjectives are horrible because German, like, so when you're describing a concept, you're not describing the concept in multiple words. The concept is one singular word.
yeah.
So in German, if you were to say the red car on the street, that's a word.
They mix all of that into one thing.
That's just slammed together.
What the heck?
Thank God I was born in America. I cannot deal with that.
I was gonna ask
My gosh.
you
Well, we
have-
speak
you have-
English, which just
You
like
have a
takes
really
other
weird
languages into the
I was gonna
alley.
say, I was
beats
gonna
them to
ask
death
about
and
your
steals their
accent
words.
because it's a little
I don't know.
noticeable. But it's
People
like,
say I have one. I don't
You
see it.
definitely have an accent.
You absolutely
something
have an
there,
accent.
yeah.
I don't know. I
Like,
think it's
I'm
like my
a-
parents
I-
are from New Jersey, so
Oh, it's Jersey. That makes sense.
like Jersey
Maybe.
Italian kind of thing, maybe.
Yeah.
Because people tell me that I've got one, and there's a way that you can tell. I was born in California, I lived in Colorado for 11 years, and people are like, "You have a Colorado accent." Like, what's a Colorado? Like, it's
goddamn,
like,
there's an
It's
accent
the
for
fact
that.
that you
They-
say Colorado, I think,
well,
is
Colorado
really giving you-
versus Colorado is a way of determining that. But they're like, say the word mountains. I
mountain.
say mountains. Colorado people drop the T in the word mountains.
Yeah,
So
mountain.
anytime you ask someone to just pronounce that one word, because it's right there. Anyone who lives in Denver literally has to look like just to the west. They're always to the west are the mountains from where Denver is. So you just say the word mountains. I say it that way. People just assume that I have an accent as a result of that, or I've lived here long enough to pick it up from the people who do. So, but every other way, I don't see how I have one. I'm like,
I
okay.
mean, look, it could be worse. You could be Affy, and it's like, oh, I've got to take the tube. Let me check my schedule.
It's a little
So
bit
the
too
thing is,
intense for
I
Affy, I
used
think.
to live in London for like 7 years, and now I've moved to the northwest, which is like a completely different accent.
Oh, yeah.
So I have like two diverging accents at once. So neither recognize me as like I'm not a true Londoner. I'm not from the northwest. So I'm just like in between somewhere with the weird ass accent.
So you've just
that,
got like one of those fake accents that they teach
No, I've got a
American
real
actors.
No, I've got the real accent. It's just mashed up two different types of British accent.
And
So
there
it's
is
really
there's a
weird.
very distinctive difference to the point that you know what accent comes from which part or even which city in some cases.
Definitely.
Like I've heard, I don't know if I'd be able to tell the differences, but the difference between someone who was like a Londoner versus someone from like Newcastle or something.
Oh, yeah,
there's a distinct difference.
That
like,
is significant.
where are you from originally? If you're not from like whereabouts are you from?
Well, I was born in the northwest, but I moved to London at like a really, really young age, and I grew up in London essentially.
Okay, gotcha.
And then I moved back. So my accent's like all over the place.
It's all torn up.
Yeah.
I just
like my childhood.
I just lived near Boston, and then I lived in Virginia, and so.
But you
depending
don't carry a Boston accent to the point that most
No,
other
you
people
don't.
from that part of the East do. Like,
No, I
that's
just
where
don't
it
say
confuses
ours
me.
like half the time. Like if
I
I'm
said-
talking fast, I'll say like, "Look, I'm just gonna give the keys to the car, okay?" But like,
Maybe I
It's a
noticed a
thing-
little bit of that in Montreal. Maybe a little bit. It wouldn't have
it
been
happens a
crazy
lot when I get
noticeable.
angry
It doesn't really.
because you can tell because I replace the U in fuck with A, so it's fact, right?
That's a good one.
I will say with Affy, like he does. I don't think he has as strong as an accent as like other people I've heard from like EU at all. Yours actually sounds like pretty. Is that just me?
It doesn't have as strong
such
an
as me.
accent as Brycer, and I
don't
spend a
have
lot
a
of time around
terrible
Brycer
one.
right now.
Yeah,
so it's
like-
yeah, Brycer has
like
Brycer's a pretty strong
Brycer
accent.
or Dokie.
Or
Doki's
Shaft.
Scottish. Doki is like...
Well,
Doki's a different breed. That's like
doesn't
trying to
speak-
pick up
yeah,
the accent
Doki speaks
from
like-
Pie, and Pie's Welsh. Like, come on.
Yeah. Doki basically speaks Glaswegian, and we don't speak of the Glaswegians.
Yes, that, exactly.
They are a horrible breed of people.
Look, man, as a fellow Scot, I'm cool with Doki. No, I don't know if I'm actually cool with Doki representing all Scottish people. I don't know if I'm...
Also, you're not Scottish, Jacob.
You know, Scottish.
I've got the
No.
lineage, and I've got the last name.
He's
I
got
have
he's
the
got
clan.
the 1%.
He's got.
I have a little bit of a connection.
1%.
Don't take this away from me. I have to work with a coworker whose last name is O'Leary, and he doesn't stop telling me how much better the Irish are than the Scottish. I'm just like, shut up.
Oh, yeah.
You're like 40. Boomer.
The Irish accent's so much worse, too.
Man,
the
dealing with a bunch
worst
of
accent-
Irish people, I wonder what's that like.
Oh, dude.
Definitely wouldn't know as a Bostonian.
Boston, yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have any idea.
The worst accent, though, is Liverpool in England.
Oh my god, it's terrible.
It is mind-racking. Literally, I'd rather, like, if you want to break me, get me in a room, just an isolated room with a speaker playing the Scouse accent for an hour. You've got me. Like, any secret you want.
No, I think the easiest way
I'm
to...
writing this down real quick. Hold on. Get
Jacob,
Affy
I'm going to stay a mile
in a
away
white
from
room.
your land, so I hope you know that.
Mm-hmm, right.
A mile radius at least.
Like you wouldn't want to get a picture of me for the Twitter clout. 100%. I buy that. All right,
I mean, I
finished writing it
called
down.
you. I say you smell like roast beef. Why would I?
I mean, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I'm not sure why Affy would need the Twitter clout, seeing as how you bought that shirt and he was given that shirt as part of his job.
I buy this shirt because it's not like I can convince SSG to just send me, hey, Luke, can SSG send me merch? Stop, Jacob, stop,
Yeah.
stop. Mother of God.
Listen,
Hey,
John
they've
Juris
sent
follows
some
you,
merch
that's
to
all
like
I'm
a bunch of like fans.
Ah, that's a good
like
point.
A
Luke,
huge
you mean
merch
don't.
package. Oh. They said I had to tell my sister to go away for a second, and I didn't
I'm gonna have to remember to
was saying-
mute that in the recording you're taking right now because it. Oh
yeah,
boy.
yeah. Definitely. But they've sent merch packages to like a bunch of fans, so
Yeah.
you have a chance, man.
Ooh.
Well, Jacob,
See,
that's all
okay,
you
no,
are, a
I
fan.
did a thing when right as the World Championship like hoodie went on pre-sale, and I tweeted I'm like, hey, SSG, is there any chance I can do one of those stupid retweet things for a chance at one of them? And then I linked the time when SSG won USN, and I sang "We Are the Champions" with the SSG logo in the back,
And they didn't give it
like
to
an
you?
American flag. The only good thing that came out of that was Shonduras following me on Twitter. That was the only thing. Like, I'm like, oh, he followed, and then no DM happened.
All right.
No communication. It was like, well, I had my shot. I took my shot.
You probably were looking so forward to it after he followed you. You were like, "Yep,
I was
I
like,
got it. I'm gonna get the DM in a couple
maybe,
minutes."
Maybe
Question
we
for
might have
y'all.
something.
Yeah.
Question
but-
for y'all. This is probably more relevant to Ekul than it is for Affy. How much clothing, how much of your wardrobe is your organization's merchandise compared to like the rest of it?
Like the rest of the region?
No, the rest of your wardrobe.
Yeah, the rest of your wardrobe. Like, how many clothes do you have?
Oh
from your-
yeah. Like
I mean, I've got-
what percentage of your wardrobe is taken up by merch for your team?
Yeah. Like just
Okay.
the stuff they send you.
Yeah.
I would say like a third or a half, probably.
Wow.
I have a lot of yeah.
I got three t-shirts, this jacket. I think that's it, and then I've got like stuff coming still though.
Do you have like
I'll
a
probably
proper
say a
jersey?
third.
I know Luke has
I've got
one.
3 coming, and 3.
Oh, you don't have
yeah.
one yet. Okay.
No, yeah.
Got it.
I have two black, and then 2 whites. I think, yeah.
The whole virus situation.
The white
kinda
ones are
messed
nice.
That
The
up
white
for
ones are
me.
really nice.
That's a good point.
Getting
Yeah.
my jerseys. Yeah, I've got 3 coming. I think I've got 2 pairs of joggers coming. So I'm gonna be good. I'm in Adidas. as a
Joggers are
sponsor,
nice.
it's quite good.
I want some
mean,
joggers.
I finally
Champion-
actually ordered my first proper jersey a couple days ago. No, it was like it was like 3 weeks ago. It's a Yeti jersey for E United because Yeti's the homie, and nothing happened. And I hit up Bagel and I go, hey Bagel, is there anyone you can talk to about why the heck this jersey hasn't even gotten a confirmation email sent? And he's like, done. And then the same day I get an email saying it's shipped. I'm like,
Imagine not having jerseys with your name on it.
my name on it, dude. I'm nobody.
Oh fuck! This one doesn't have my name on it. Shit, those are my other Fnatic jerseys. Fuck.
Get fucked.
Good job.
He just fucked himself over there.
I'm so proud.
Yeah, it's like this Fnatic one and then my TSM ones are the only one that don't have my name on it.
No, you don't leave your Sonics jersey out of this, please.
My Sonics jersey has my full legal name on it.
But that's not the thing that we're interested in with the
It
Sonics
also has
jersey.
Earthquake on it.
Correct. We are interested in the Girthquake part
Wait, what?
of that jersey.
What?
Can't you explain?
Oh,
So,
sure. I bought a
Parker
Sonics
has a-
jersey and I was like, hey, I put on Twitter the thing, the reply
Daye,
with the most
actually,
likes within 24 hours.
Oh my god.
You'll win. I'll put it on the back of my Sonics jersey. Actually, hold on. I have it downstairs. Give me a second.
He's gonna go get his.
The point
Now-
is,
Yeah,
Parker was the
jersey.
one, and Taro had the most likes, and his
Oh,
response
I remember that. Yes.
was Girthquake.
Yes, I remember that.
And then that spawned a whole other meme on top of it, and we just wouldn't stop saying it during like the invitational qual meme cast. Just so many Girthquake references, like
So that was the start of the Girthquake.
that's what I don't know if it came from somewhere else though. Yep, there it is.
Oh my gosh.
It's
The
so
Girthquake.
beautiful.
The
Yeah.
Girthquake.
The funny part is that's not even the same style of jersey that the Sonics sell anymore.
I literally have a Canadian flag on the side of it because fucking Intero was the one who had that, so I'm sitting there.
You could customize your flag on Sonics jerseys too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Arma.gg.
That sounds
They
great.
do other jerseys too, and they're pretty good.
I wish there was one
Now-
like collective marketplace to get jerseys because they will vary from if you get it from the org website or like ESL's website, or if they do it with a clothing
Yes.
brand like Raven.
Some websites are like sketchy.
Yeah.
They don't look
sometimes,
legit,
like,
yeah.
footwork.
Yeah, some of them are really weird.
I tried to get
I
a.
mean, we sell those on our shop. I think SSG,
Yeah.
you must like on your own website.
SSG has its
right?
own endemic
Yeah.
merch thing. Yeah. I
Yeah,
was
I
trying to
think
get
that's,
an
like, the best
yeah.
way.
I was trying to get an Empire jersey,
Oh no.
right?
Yes, I saw their like.
Have you
website.
seen their shop?
Yes.
It's
I have.
literally
The only
like
way-
it's literally like Russian Best
Yes.
Buy, and
Yes.
there's no English translations.
The only opportunity to get an Empire jersey is like at land.
At land, that's it.
Like
You
Raleigh
gotta
has
get one
sold
before
a
it
bunch.
sells
But
out.
that's if they make it to
Yes.
land, though, was the
Yeah.
thing.
Yes,
'Cause
they do,
I don't
yeah.
think I saw an Empire jersey in the invite shop when
No,
that
that's
was
because they
open for
didn't
the first
have any
day.
to bring to the invite
Yeah.
shop. They didn't make a lot of
They had them at Raleigh, but I don't think they had it.
Yeah, and then back when they were Aerowolf, I was trying to get an Aerowolf jersey, and I was like, "Oh, these things are $30," and I went to go ship it, and
that should
they
triple
don't
the
ship
price, huh?
outside of the country. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we
Pain.
don't ship outside of Europe, unfortunately, either.
aren't you guys in the ESL store?
I think we might be though. Yeah, that would work.
Either the ESL or the DreamHack store, because I know I bought my Vitality hat at DreamHack. So
Something tells me that if you have a team that is based in a specific continent, that it'll work in that continent. Because I have a feeling that it's like G2 probably wouldn't have been shipping merch to the US if it didn't have an American like Rocket League team or something.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't have had a reason to ship stuff to that continent if they only had teams and fans based in like one part of the world.
I mean, T1 has no North American teams.
Yeah, Vitality is in the ESL shop, so that's where you go to get NA stuff, I imagine.
Doesn't T1 have no American teams? And they still
all I
sell
know is that
American
they're
merch?
trying to figure out what they want to do for a Valorant team, and right now it includes Brax, but that's it. So
I mean, they had like some weird was it another 100 Thieves that announced Brax as their tier as their
well,
other
100
team
Thieves
for
is
Valorant?
doing like Valorant Cups.
Oh,
I don't know
I
if they're doing
think that was a
teams.
cup. That was probably
Yeah.
for a cup then. But you're
God only knows,
Valorant
like-
right now is
like,
really
and then-
weird in terms of that kind of stuff.
Well, Valorant esports is supposed to be endemic to the scene, right? So there's going to be
Yep.
no big riot events
Not yet.
for a few years. I think they
For-
said they want to run it like CS for a while and see if that works. Where it's DreamHack will pick something up, ESL will pick something up, Face It, Blast, like those guys.
But they won't have
We'll
an
run it,
official scene.
But they're not going to have
until-
like an official thing like we do, which seems
like
very
Apex
strange
took about a
because
year before they got their scene in order and I remember there was like one big announcement about that. They still ran like an invitational, and but that was like a proper everyone got an invite spot sort of idea. There wasn't a qual process for it. So they've taken a bit. Val will take a bit to kind of figure out whether it has enough of a standing for an esports scene, but it's Riot. There's no reason for them to not have that. So
I also think Riot likes to prioritize like balancing too, so I think they're going to take some time to make sure everything's balanced before like any proper tournament. So I think that's one of their
that is a very bold statement to say about Riot, that they prioritize balancing.
They do, like, I mean, League is a very difficult game to balance, but like I think they do somewhat good on it. But
Half
I
the
mean,
champions never see play.
But I mean, you can't get every champion played.
Okay,
Dota
it's very
does.
difficult to fit them in the meta.
This is something we need to talk
operators
about.
in Siege
even
don't
in
see
Siege.
play.
Yeah, we need to talk about this in Siege now. I'd rather have an operator underpowered than overpowered. Okay,
Let's do it. Yeah.
'Cause not everyone's gonna have a place in like the meta.
Yeah.
And
so
like,
you'd rather have an operator not played as much
like
than
Ying.
stupidly
I would much rather
broken.
her be underplayed
Exactly.
than the stage she is in now. 100%.
So
Yes.
honestly, like if half the champions in League aren't played, fine by me. I'd rather have that than one really broken champion who's played all the time. I don't even play League, but I know that. Like, you know.
Well, but let's
And
compare
it's the
that
same
to
concept
let's
with
compare that
Siege.
to Dota, right? Where at the international, I think it was like 4 or 5 champions weren't picked out of the whole 120 something roster,
Holy shit, that's quite good actually.
right?
Wasn't one of
But,
them
like,
at the
that's your
international from like
ideal,
Evil
right?
Geniuses also like the most infamous misclick throw of the entire tournament because he didn't mean to, or they didn't mean to ban something or
Yes,
pick
I
something
saw
beyond.
that. They didn't mean to
Yeah.
pick or ban something. Yes, I saw that
Yeah.
on the school esports or something. Yeah.
And I remember hearing the voice comms like settle in for EG because they were
Oh
all
my
speaking
God.
English and there's someone let out an F bomb and I bawled out laughing because they had to bleep it and they're just going, what do we do?
Yeah, like Dota is quite balanced, I believe, which is really good. But in a game like Siege right now, it's like I'd much rather have underpowered operators than overpowered. Broken Lion Thinker Dokkaebi meta, you know?
Yeah, I buy that.
Yeah. Like Tachanka might be nasty when he comes out. I don't know when
I'm
that's
not
happening.
looking forward to that new Tachanka.
Yeah.
That's like
I am,
Goyo.
as-
That is
as a
Goyo on
casual
crack.
hardstuck Gold 1 pleb, I'm excited for Tachanka, but
You guys don't want
You see,
another
Jacob?
LMG defender, but this time he can throw Goyos. You don't want that?
No,
I think
don't
just
think
like the
I
smoke
really want that.
in Tachanka combo will be very obnoxious to plant. It's going
Smoke
to be very
Goyo
difficult.
Tachanka with my Jaeger. Like, excuse
Oh
me.
yeah, that's what I'm
Holy
talking
crap.
about.
Excuse me. Like, do you want like Utility Simulator Extreme?
I mean, you could probably drop the Wamai for a Maestro, and just
feasibly maybe, yeah. The fun,
Insofar as Wamai has a shield, he is broken.
Yeah.
They need to get rid of his shield ASAP.
Please.
The funny
No
part about
reason-
them saying they wanted to drop Jaeger's pick rate, while then in the same update also making sure that they gave one more throwable to an operator saying, okay, we tried to nerf his pick rate, but everyone's going to play Ying, which means you're forced to still play Jaeger, but you're going to hate it now because he's not a 3-speed anymore.
I've been playing a ton of ranked and in every ranked game.
Honestly, I
every
don't
defender
mind
ban,
2-2 Jaeger.
every time, it's just Jaeger.
Yeah.
Luke, what's your opinion? 2-2 Jaeger.
I mean, I just think it hurts extended setups where like
Yeah.
ADSs are placed far away. But I mean, obviously there's trade-offs, right?
Yeah.
You lose speed, but you get more chunkier.
Yeah,
so-
like you can tank an
Works
extra
out
bullet,
sometimes.
which is like honestly, I don't mind roaming with the 2-2.
Yeah.
It's like
I generally
it doesn't
don't.
make that much
I did
of
that
a
with
difference.
Mozzie all the time. Like, it's not
Exactly.
like roaming with a 2 is
Honestly,
difficult.
There's some operators where you just don't feel like it's 2-2. Jaeger's one of
Yeah.
them. Mozzie's one of them.
Jaeger does not feel too
Yeah.
good.
Jaeger,
Is Mozzie a
Mozzie,
2-2? I think
is who?
Mozzie's a 2-2.
Mozzie's 2-2. Yeah.
Mozzie's 2-2.
So it's like you
I
don't
roam with
feel it.
Frost when I'm done putting traps down. Like, come on.
This is why you're silver.
Shut up.
But yeah, it's like you don't feel it, and you can tank an extra bullet. I really don't mind.
Yeah. I mean, I generally don't play 3-speeds, but because Jaeger's now 2-speed, it's just a lot easier for me to play him.
Yeah.
Because
I'm not
I
gonna lie, for the longest freaking time, I forgot that Vigil was a 3-speed. Like,
No. Yeah.
I genuinely wouldn't bother me if they reverted him down to a 2-speed, but that's just because he isn't played nearly as often as so many other 3-speeds on
You
defense
know who
anyway.
should be a
so-
2-speed, honestly?
Who?
Fuse.
If they did that, they'd have to nerf the AK-12.
No?
Because the AK-12 is the best gun in the
I don't know, I
game
think
on probably one of the
insofar as
most
his-
weird operators in the game.
Insofar as his utility is bad, I don't know. I don't think that can fix him. It's just his
Fuse
utility that's
hit-
bad.
I'm gonna
It's
get
just
a-
not worth it.
I think Fuse isn't a bad operator. I think he is underplayed,
I don't know if
but I
he's a
don't think he's a bad operator.
bad one.
There
I
is
just think he's
certain
weird.
sites on certain maps where you can abuse the living fuck out of Fuse.
Well,
And
with the
it
new explosive
works.
changes, yeah.
Yeah, and it works a lot.
It is nice to hear smokes
Like,
too.
You
so.
have an LMG, which is insane. You have an AK-12, which is insane. You have smokes and you have fuses. Imagine you fuse a site, you smoke it off, you plant. Like, you can cut off half the site and plant and cover at the same time with one operator.
If anything,
I just think it's hard.
that's,
I think
like,
it's hard to fit Fuse into the meta because
Into the
like,
lineup,
The
yeah.
smokes that teams are bringing now is from Ying. So, I mean, it's hard to fit another operator in who also has smokes.
honestly, I think
I don't know what's his secondary gadget. What's his other? Is it like
Breaching charges.
breach?
breaching?
I mean, that's not bad.
Okay,
then,
so
guess.
what I'm thinking is the only reason people aren't bringing things like Fuse is because the operator lineup for attack is so default now. So like you bring
Yeah.
Thermite,
Yeah.
Thatcher, Ash Zephyr, one of the entry fraggers. You bring an IQ, Capital, whatever flex operator is available, and then you bring a vertical play operator. More likely going to be
IQ, Cap,
Sledge,
Nomad, any
Yeah.
of those. Yeah.
So it's like you don't have space for someone like Fuse or like Cali,
Especially on certain maps
or-
like Clubhouse. Like, there's no fun for
there's-
Fuse in
yeah.
Clubhouse.
You-
You
like,
have your
that's
set
why,
lineup.
there's really-
that's
there's
why
really
we're not
no-
seeing a lot of Cali, etc. on
Yeah.
like Pro League in general either, because there's just not space for people like that anymore.
What if we gave Fuse a secondary shotgun? Would that be
I
too
don't
strong?
think that'd do much.
I think
Honestly,
that's more
secondary
enticing, but
shotguns
I
on
don't know what
attack-
problem that solves, right?
Yeah, on attack.
Well, you
I
could
don't
use them
think
as a vertical
secondary
player,
shotgun is
right?
too-
Because
Like,
you can use your
are we
Jackal
talking?
as...
Are we
I don't
talking
know.
skeleton key? or are
Using
we
those
talking
shotguns as
jackal
vertical players
shotgun?
is like so slow sometimes.
Yeah, are we
Like,
talking like jackal shotgun or buck shotgun? Because they're
Jackal.
very two different shot. No,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
not.
no.
That's not worth
Jackal's
it.
so slow sometimes.
The
so I
amount
don't
of
know.
time that you spend doing vertical play with something like jackal shotgun is it's not worth it. You'd rather bring like breach charges or just sledge. Because in general, like siege is also a test of like time and coordination, and
Yeah.
having someone like that just waste so much time. It's not going to be good when you've got the meta that's currently going on.
Oh, yeah.
If only we could find a place to fit Fuse in, though. Like I
want
love
to see
like,
that
gun,
a
man.
flex operator. I want to see a flex operator, but in the current meta, you can't run quirky op.
I really just want them to add a good attacker. We haven't had a good attacker.
The only
in a
map
good
you can
year.
like reliably like run a
Coast.
bunch of flex ops is Coastline.
Yeah.
But like, who knows? Maybe even that map's gone soon because people don't like it.
I mean, for good
that shit
reason,
might be
though.
gone. I don't know.
I'd rather have border gun. Not gonna lie.
Really? Yeah.
I would have border
don't know.
gun
I've
just
been-
as a caster.
I'd rather have Coast. I don't know. I just don't like Coast.
I think okay, so this is something that we should also talk about because I believe that every map, at least in the old pool before theme park was introduced, every map had a purpose. So I think the whole like idea behind Bank in Pro League was it was a test of time and it was a test of coordination. If you could clear top floor fast, you could clear ground floor fast, you can attack bottom floor quite easily. It's all about, and on defense, it's how good can you coordinate and roam together.
Like utility play.
Yeah. So it's so it was like the real test of Bank was timing. The real test of Coastline is just outright fragging, which in an FPS game, I don't mind. But the thing is, Border is what Coast used to be. Coast is what Border is, but refreshed. Border is stale. Border is old. Border is pretty much the same map as Coast in my opinion, but Border's just been explored so much now that we do the same thing over and over because it works.
I don't know. I feel like Borders had like a resurgence of strats recently, especially with how much like Thatcher was banned on Border and Invite. I think like it's changed a lot. Like a lot. Like Thatcher has been banned a lot more. There's been a lot more Maverick, and changes of takes have changed because of that. I think it's kind of seen like a resurgence of new. It's been a lot more refreshing with the Thatcher ban that teams have been running.
Something we
to where like every game there's almost a Thatcher ban on border.
We tried to figure this out in CL, and I don't know whether you guys have the same opinion on it. We said border's probably the more balanced comp map right now, but we said
it is
just
fairly
because of
balanced,
it getting stale kind of means that if you've already figured everything out on it and it doesn't swing one way or the other, attack or defense, that's one of the more 50-50 maps of any of the maps that's been in comp the past year.
Border and cons are like these split maps, like 50-50.
I'd say so too.
And then like the heavy attacker sided map is obviously Coast. And then defender sided you have Cafe probably most, and
Cafe,
then Club,
Theme,
and then
Club.
Villa.
Yeah.
I think
Villa, right.
Theme I meant. Yeah.
Theme is probably the most defender-sided map currently in the pool.
Yes, now it is. Yes,
Yeah.
there just hasn't been enough play on it for like there to be like a large amount of statistics, but definitely.
Did Bank swing 50-50 usually?
Bank was, I think it was close to.
It would depend on bans,
55,
obviously. Like
50.
Thatcher ban
Holy
was very
shit!
defender-sided. What?
Sorry. I don't mean to derail the conversation, but GameStop just re-reviewed Siege.
Oh.
Or GameSpot, sorry.
Hold on. When you
GameSpot.
say re-reviewed it, what was their review the first time?
They gave it, I believe, a 7 or an 8.
And this would have been from 2015, maybe the first month 2016, based on when embargo copies went out. Okay.
It was an 8 out of 10.
And what is it now?
To get that kind of reaction from you, it must be either really good or really bad.
Okay, so it is
it's a 10?
the... What is it? It's like the 10th 10 out of 10 that GameSpot's ever given?
Oh.
Wow.
That's not.
We take those. We
win those,
Take
dude.
those.
Rainbow Six Siege has always been a game about making tactical decisions and dealing with their consequences, but every new year of operators and changes, the options have been refined and increased to make for firefights that are as engaging as they are unpredictable. Learning the various operators and how to breach or protect a room with them can be a slow crawl, but Siege makes it easy to understand what your mistakes are, thanks in part to seeing both sides of every match. It rewards patience, persistence, and teamwork, and over the past 4 years, Siege has not only become Ubisoft's crown jewel of multiplayer action, but also one of the best first-person shooters ever made. 10 out of 10 essential.
Not bad.
Okay.
The one bad is the addition of a battle pass on top of the annual operator pass. Is egregious. I don't know. I can name a couple
We
more
can
bads,
name a
but
couple more issues.
yeah.
Okay. I obviously don't want to cut conversation short either. However, right around now is when we're supposed to get the announcements about everything for the next upcoming North American League. So I think for us, for the moment, we will cut things off for this episode so that we can go through the rest of the announcements and whatnot and sort that out later, and so that this podcast can kind of stand on its own as a standalone episode, and then we can get to North American changes at some point down the road. So, Luke, Affy, anything you'd like to plug? Now is your time to just put anything up for grabs and just promote the crap out of it. If you have anything you want to shill, the floor is yours.
You got it first, Affy. So I know my boundaries.
Honestly, I just want to say thank you for inviting me and not like completely ruining me. That was fun. And yeah, that's about it. Like, what else do I have to say? I mean,
Alright.
Red Bull and Adidas are awesome sponsors, and that's about
Obviously,
it.
right.
And every other sponsor, you know.
You don't know every sponsor
Yeah.
for Vitality offhand.
Oh, I do. I do. Don't test me.
on.
I do.
Name them. Name them. Name them.
Renault Afflelu, which is our glasses sponsor, actually. And let's see. So we've got Red Bull, Adidas, Afflelu, Renault. I'm missing one, I think. Let me see. Which one am I missing?
Go quick, son.
I am missing. Do you want to load? Orange, but on Corsair, obviously. I've shilled that before. So yeah, that's all of them. I mean, Orange doesn't sponsor the FPS team, technically, so I did get all of them right because I
that's
shilled
fair.
Corsair earlier.
Got it.
Don't test my loyalties.
All right, Luke, how about
Luke,
you?
Yeah. Just thanks for having me. It was good. Time flew by.
It really did.
And yeah, you know, thanks for having me on. That's about it. You know.
Yeah, no problem.
Also, the announcement dropped for NA.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Now's the time that we cut everybody off here. You guys can read through the blog post yourself, and we will probably but depending on who we're able to get on next week, we can probably go over all that in detail. And I can't make a video about this because my computer is going to be rendering and exporting and uploading this podcast in the next 3 hours, and I won't be able to talk about it. Oh, boy. All right.
You can do it on your phone.
I might have to do it on my phone.
Imagined it.
If only. All right, Chad, is that it?
I think that's it.
I think that's it. Yeah.
This episode of the Hammered Podcast has been brought to you us mercilessly beating on Affy for no reason.
Which didn't really happen.
Which didn't happen because...
What he doesn't know this entire time is that we've actually sent someone to go repossess his car while he's been sitting in
Yeah,
there.
Affy, your car's on fire. Just fair warning. Your car's on fire.
You see, I've got like the evidence of you saying that now,
We've
and I know your
kidnapped
legal.
We've kidnapped your
I
parents.
know your legal name by the Girthquake jersey, so you've got something.
You know the
coming
first
to
two
you.
letters of it.
3 letters of my legal name.
No, I saw half of your legal name. I saw the first and the third 3 letters of your second name. Okay, don't test me. I'm an analyst.
My
it's
second
my job
name
to
is
be a
10
detective.
letters long.
Oh Lord, never mind.
Affy, I have an incredibly long... You're not going to get it. Mm-hmm. It's in a completely different language, too. But good try.
Okay. Yeah, never mind then. I
Not
tried.
an English name, and it's very long. You're never going to find out.
Oh, boy.
All right.
All right,
Thank you for listening to the Hammered Podcast.
Thanks,
Bye.
boys.
We'll see you in hell.
Bye.
Which is next Monday. Hell is next Monday.
Hell is next Monday.
Just cut away. Thank you.
We cut. Jesus, we cut.